and supervise and answer questions.
We are live, David.
Wonderful! Welcome back, all 0 of our regular viewers and 1 of our irregular viewers, I believe. This will be a slightly different situation tonight. Instead of a regular adventure, our heroes have discovered a trove of history about the great house Tyr that had been one of the 4 great elven houses here on Varsolaris. And they are going to be spending the session tonight reading through the volumes of lore that they have discovered, which means that tonight we are going to be playing, rather than a traditional D&D game, a game of something called Microscope. In Microscope, this is a history-generating game where we have bracketed our time period that we are interested in with 2 major events, beginning with the Age of Elven Prosperity, when elves first arrived on the continent of Varsolaris, and ending with the Great Collapse, when civilization crumbled and everything was lost, and the last ships left the continent. The original game setting had been generated in large part through an initial Microscope game, and the timeline for that has just been updated through our World Anvil account that we recently created. And if you, I don't know, look at some kind of chat somewhere, general in our Discord, out of character in the Discord, you will find a link to the original timeline for Varsolaris. If anybody wishes to have that up on the side to help with some inspiration, that is not necessary though. So in Microscope, and here I'm going to quote right from the rulebook itself under the how to play and teaching the game. The author of the game says that I should read this part to you because it's really important. All of us sitting at this table have equal creative power. At times we'll have different roles and authority, but we're all equal participants and authors. It may sound like I'm running the game because I'm the GM of the regular game. And I will be explaining a lot about the rules, and I may interrupt and jump in to clarify a few things. But I do not have any more authority than anyone else when it comes to this history building. Now, they also says to say that Microscope is a little bit like poker, and you'll want to keep your cool ideas close to your vest until you use them. Because if the rest of us know what you're going to do ahead of time, it won't be as interesting. So there are 3 layers of events that we will be adding. So the basic structure of the game is that we are going to be going around the table, and we are probably going to need some kind of virtual table to, like, at least with names, so we can go around it and have some semblance of order. Would everybody please make a sticky note, resize it to probably the smallest possible, and just set it along the top of the whiteboard, please.
With a different color, or?
On the page 2, right?
Yes, we are on page 2 of the Jamboard. Page 1 is for doodling and just figuring out how to use stuff. Page 2 will be where we actually get things done. So yeah, let's just get a little initiative order, and you will be in whatever order you placed yourselves in. So that way we have some virtual table that we can go around and keep track of things.
Get out of here.
So we will be going around the table, and we will be creating either a period, an event, or a scene. Periods are the top level of our history, like the major eras that we will be concerned about. Inside of those will be events, and inside of those events will be scenes that help explain what's going on in that event, or to answer a particular question. For each rotation, there's going to be one player called the Lens, and that player is going to pick a particular focus that everything we create will have to relate to. So if the focus is a city, each player is going to get to add something to the history that somehow relates to that city. and it will be the topic that will keep us all on the same page. If you make a period or event, just describe what happens as though you're seeing it from a bird's eye view. You're in charge, and the rest of us are eagerly listening to hear what you have to say. In essence, this is something that you have found in the book that your character has in front of you, and you are reading it aloud to the rest of us. Meaning that you are right about whatever you found. So you're in charge, the rest of us are listening, and if you make a scene, that will be something that is actually played out. And we will all pick characters, and by all, this game was written, and it says that like 3 or 4, 5 players is kind of the optimum. So if you're making a scene, we'll just pick the next 3 people around the table to participate in the scene as characters to help answer whatever the dramatic question is that needs to be answered.
Question.
Yes.
Does the person who is describing that there is a scene, are they also playing a role, or is it people
Yes.
who are not okay.
So they will take a role, and they will also have the opportunity to forcibly include or exclude anybody from the scene, like any characters that must be in or should not, or should be in or should not be in. All right. Now, I think actually that how to start actually starts a little bit after let's go back. Okay, so just to help kick things off, I will start with the lens. And I had some ideas that I did not write down while I was trying to get everything going. So, that is also one of the rules. While it is like your turn to be coming up with something, you should not be discussing with anyone else for ideas. You should not be sharing thoughts or giving feedback unless it is you who's actually the driver of things. So right now, our first lens question will be, or lens topic will be, I'm terrible with names. I'm going to open Fantasy Name Generator off on the side. I suggest others who have a similar problem do the same.
To see the name generator.
Okay. Let's go with that. So our lens will be Nathine, the School of Magic. So any events created here will need to relate to a school of magic that now exists because I said so. It didn't exist until this moment. Now, each era has, and each era, event, and scene has a tone associated with it, either positive or light, negative or dark. For these post-its, I thought we could use the yellow as a nice bright light color for tone, and the red post-it, or pink post-it, I guess, as our dark tone events. An event does not have to be the same tone as the whatever is containing it. There can be clashes, but the overall tone of each event and period in history is supposed to be generally either light or dark to help give us an idea of how the history progressed.
Interesting.
So under the Great Collapse, I'm going to say that the that the ruins of the Nathine School of Magic have been rediscovered during the Great Collapse, and that was a brighter moment in there. As the lens, I have the option of now making a follow-up item for our timeline, which has to be something contained inside what I just made. So because I made an event inside of the period, I can now make a scene to go inside that event. So I will choose to do that. And where's my post-it note button? So we don't know the tone of the scene until it's finished. And so the scene starts with a question. Fantasy name generator, give me a name.
I feel like I just kind of want to go down the route of it's all like vaguely Italian sounding names exclusively. Just go with like, Antonio or whatever. Just do.
Here we go.
Like everybody in the School of Magic has like vaguely Italian sounding name.
So, why did the school's rediscovery lead to Erleno's death? Is going to be our dramatic
Erleno?
question. So, during the scene, remind players, goal is to answer the question, nothing else. So as soon as the question is answered, we stop, no matter how exciting the action has just got.
Okay.
If you really wanted to continue exploring what happened after, that would be a new scene, a new question. And
There are some roads inside of the scene as well, right?
yes, so it'll be myself, Kaylee, Crystal, and Diana who will play this scene. And let me just double check the order of events for a scene. So we state the question, set the stage, and then we choose characters and reveal any thoughts. So Erliano is an elf historian who has been searching for these ruins for as well, and others like them, for much of his life, trying to figure out what he can do. And in this age of magical decline, and he's really hoping that within the walls of these ruins he will find something that will suggest some kind of antidote to the decline, the magical decline that the land is experiencing. So right now he has just found the ruins, and has just found enough of it that he is able to confidently say that this must be the school ruins. So he's there with a small group of loyal researchers, like friends and comrades that he's worked with for years, and they're just about to enter the main room. Setting the stage. So when does the scene happen? Decide which event it's in. Review established facts. Magic has been on the decline based off of our previous history, would be the most important thing that's happened so far. So we're where, why, what's happened, or what's next. So they're just about to enter this magical school. But we don't know what's going to happen inside. Choosing characters. Player making the scene may specify 1 or 2 characters someone must play in the scene. That player can also name 1 or 2 characters that no one can play in this scene. These can be characters already introduced, or just descriptions of roles or relationships, such as like the Doctor's son. And banning seemingly essential characters can lead to very different scenes. I will not require or ban anyone in this particular scene. I would like to see what people come up with. So now everybody pick, or nobody is required in this scene, including, in that case, Erliano is not strictly required. Each player picks a character to play in this scene. The person to the right of the player making the scene picks first, and then continue around. The player making the scene picks last. So, Kaylee, Crystal, and Anna will be helping me with this scene.
Okay. So do I have to pick a character?
And yeah, any character that would conceivably be here.
I would like to be Erliano's assistant.
Okay.
Do I have to come up with a name for this person?
Only if you think it's important.
I don't. I think nameless assistant.
At the moment, it's been lost, or at least we haven't read it in the narrative so far. That's fine. So,
Yeah.
Erliano's assistant. Crystal.
Okay, I'm gonna choose. I'm gonna play as Feyre, and that's Ariano's cousin.
Okay. And why is Feyre here?
Because she owed Ariano a favor, a big favor,
Okay.
Oh.
and Feyre doesn't want to get into it.
Could you make a note underneath your name up top there, just as what character you are, or you have for this? Just so that way we can remember and keep track.
The assistant.
Diana.
Well, I had thought an assistant, but that's been taken, so perhaps a fellow researcher.
You can have more than one, no?
A team of assistants.
You can be the assistant's assistant.
This seems like too many assistants. I will go with a fellow researcher by the name of Liari Gilcairn, which actually sounds
Whoa.
vaguely Scottish, so apparently that's a thing.
Is that 2 names or 1?
I will put it in a sticky note.
Okay.
And I will go with there we go. I will go with Keswick, who happens to be a Gishveldi scholar, but is currently secretly also in Camdur's employ.
Ooh, that's a bit more all over there.
All right. So, each player states one thing the character is thinking about the upcoming scene. Assistant?
I feel like this is a very new on the job assistant. So Like what? Sorry, the characters say one thing that they're thinking.
Yeah, what is immediately on your mind right before... don't reveal anything that would answer the question before the scene even starts. You can hint
Okay.
at something that might happen.
So
but
don't.
no
Yeah.
definitive-
So don't say something like I'm gonna kill this man.
Yeah.
No.
So,
I'm
reveal
gonna
what
kill this
you're
guy in 5
thinking you
seconds.
might, what you're going to do or planning to do, or what your character expects to happen, for example.
Okay. Well, so I think my character's initial thought is, I hope I don't mess up my first expedition. I'm going to take very meticulous notes.
And Freya, what are you thinking? Or how do you pronounce it? Freya?
Feyre.
Feyre?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm thinking, how the heck did I get roped into this? And I assume we've been walking a while, and my legs are sore, and I'm hungry.
Okay. And what is that, Laurel?
Liari? Liari?
Liari?
No,
Okay. I'm making it just a little bit bigger so I can actually see what that word is.
Fair. Liari is thinking about how she wants to prove herself better than Erliano because he's just like stuck up and pompous, and if he finds the solution to all our problems here, we'll never hear the end of it. He'll never shut up about it, so I've got to find the solution, whatever it may be.
All right. My character is Kezig is thinking that very amazed that we found this at all, and also kind of worrying how he might be able to sneak something away without anyone noticing if there's any magical artifacts here, because getting something out to add to Camdor's hoard would be that would be a feat greatly rewarded. But he has also been working with Erliano for many, many years, and that also holds some weight.
Nice.
Now, the player making the scene can choose to say who is present when the scene starts. Players can have other characters enter the scene whenever they want. Kezig is right beside Erliano as the doors open, and is with everyone. Everybody's been gathered around for this momentous occasion. But as soon as the doors open and people start going inside, Kezig is looking around for an opportunity to slip away and start exploring on his own. It's very dark inside, and so there's a lot of opportunities for that. Now, he sees that further, one of the rooms that he comes to, and he's still with enough of the group that he, doesn't want to do anything yet. But there's a room that has a statue of an elf, and it's holding a staff, and the staff of the statue is a different material than the rest, and it to someone trained in the magical arts, they can feel that there's a bit of a magical aura around the staff, that the statue.
Am I lagging?
I don't
No,
think you're
it's
lagging.
not just
I think
you.
we're waiting for the next person to jump in.
Oh, I think you cut off was the problem.
Did I cut off?
You said this.
You said-
Someone trained in the magical arts. The staff.
Okay. Well, to someone trained in the magical arts, the staff would, they could tell that the staff was magical, in nature.
Okay. Are we still in an order, or are we just going?
You can just go.
Okay, well, Feyre's trained in the magical arts, so she's gonna go up to the staff. And can I start casting with it? I'm gonna start casting with it. I'm gonna cast that one spell Melissa uses that like makes a little bear pop around. I'm gonna use that. I'm gonna cast that in the corner.
Oh, the spirit.
Yeah, I'm
The
gonna
totem?
use. Yeah, I'm gonna do that in the corner.
Which spell? Sorry.
What is
It's
it called?
called
Melissa?
Spirit Totem. Let me check. Yeah, Spirit Totem.
Yeah, I'm
Gain
gonna cast.
the,
Go ahead.
you gain the ability to call forth natural spirits and use them to influence the world around you.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Yeah.
cast Spirit Totem. I'm gonna cast a little bear then.
Okay, so Freya is actually like a druid along on this journey.
Yes.
All right. Is anybody jumping on that bit of information?
I'm gonna go, oh, maybe don't. Okay, and then I'm going to take notes about what happens.
Liari is like following Erliano around and like wherever he's going, trying to get there first to look at the stuff.
And as Freya is taking this and like doing something magical while holding this magical staff, Kezig leaps at Freya and like tries to grab the staff and like pull it away from her. Like, no, what do you think you're doing? Like this, like we have no idea what this is, what it does. This is extremely dangerous.
Whoa, whoa, whoa! Back off! Step off! It's fine. Look, see, that's a healing spirit over there.
Erliano, maybe we should. Something's happening. Ah!
And I'm gonna hit him over the head lightly with the staff. See?
And in
You're
a
not
flash of like purple energy, Kezig is just knocked dead.
I'm gonna look around and drop the staff. And I don't know. My
I'm like-
face like drops all expression.
I'm tapping furiously on Erliano's shoulder to get his attention.
And then I pick up the staff and I toss it
You
towards
can
him.
just direct him somewhere. He's just a background character now.
Well, I'll do that. I'm directing him at this happening. I'm like, your cousin. We shouldn't have brought her. She doesn't know what she's doing.
What are you talking about? The staff is beside you. Look at your feet.
I saw her. She killed him.
Your assistant is out to lunch.
There was somebody else who was watching, wasn't there?
Larry is there, I think.
Claire, you saw.
Liari,
You always
Liari
wanted to
steps
be the
forward and
assistant.
She picks up the staff and children, this is not a toy. You do not play with things that you don't understand.
There was a man
Pull
dead
out
on
the staff.
the floor.
And there, no big deal.
Did the question get answered then?
No, that wasn't the right person. What do we do? What do we do? Apparently.
All right, we know that
Good
this
job, yeah.
like somehow, Erliano does have to die. So you gotta bring us to a point where you kill him somehow.
Oh, he has to die in one
shit.
scene.
Okay. So in the background, no, in the shadows, Mayra, Feyre's long lost identical twin, comes out of the shadows, and she's like, controlling Feyre somehow.
Okay.
It should have been me, and then like, Mayra's like choking Feyre,
What?
This is incredible.
and then Feyre drops, but she's unconscious, and then Mayra is slowly walking towards the staff. Closer.
It's awesome.
closer.
I'm gonna try and grab the
Closer.
staff.
Erliana, okay. Grab the staff. I was going to say that Erliana is also going for the staff at the same time, just because there's so much chaos happening here. That
Yari will
seems to
also
be
go for
key
the
to
staff.
it. And is this what kills Erliano?
Struggle and a flash of light, and then
And scene.
Eliano and maybe some other people are on the floor.
Are all
Yeah.
dead.
Mayra's
Holy
going
crap.
crazy.
Dang.
She's like controlling one person with one hand and one person with the other hand and like banging them together.
Oh my god.
Oh my
Staff
god.
and like and
Getting dark.
delivers the killing blow.
Holy shit. How long have you been thinking about this?
It just
D&D
came to
soap
my
opera,
mind.
I'm into it.
Maybe okay. I think that seeing the
Hurrah.
horrifying
Yep.
thing that this person
Me.
is doing, I would go hide and
It's too
write
late.
this story.
You can't do
Everybody's
anything
dead.
afterwards. It cuts off at the climax of the story.
We're reading the story. Somebody had to
I'd
live.
say that this one went dark.
Wasn't one of the rules that after like you hear the like after you
If
get to
got
the
question, scene's over.
yeah, as soon as it's done.
As soon as the question's answered, cut, go to the next. So we had
I'll try to backseat again.
Thera, Mayra, and Thera, Mayra, and Lyari over a magic staff they found. Keze and okay. Note. Event made. Or scene made. So that is the end of my turn. Okay, so these people are no longer people who are actively being used. Kaylee, it is now your turn.
Okay.
So in the book that you are reading, you may
Okay.
add a new period to the top layer of our history.
Uh-huh.
And you'd put it like you have to put it in between the endpoints, and once there's more than one period, then you pick where it goes. So
Okay.
like there's no specific dates to anything. It's all just this is the order. And within each period, the events go top to bottom. So if you were to make an event inside the Great Collapse, you would decide whether it happened before or after the discovery of the school. And so yes, it's now in your hands. You can make any event anywhere in the timeline that we know so far. So either a new period or an event under one of the periods we already know. And
Okay.
our lens is this school of magic, so whatever you make needs to relate to it somehow.
Okay. So I'm going to make an event that happens after this one.
Okay.
Which is, how do you spell that dragon's name?
Kamdur,
Yeah.
Kamdur.
Kamdur. Which is Kamdur's disciples. Come to arrive to determine what happened to what was the name of the person secretly working for Kamdur?
Keswick,
Kez.
up over here.
Oh, yes. Keswick. And the
So is this a scene or an event?
it's
So like how important is it?
I would say it's an event. Well, so okay, wait. So remind me what the difference between a scene and event is.
Okay, so like an event is like a major like point. Like if you're like opening a history textbook, like events would be things that are noted like in that timeline as
Okay.
part of the summary. If you're just looking up the Wikipedia article for it, and then like an in-depth look at one of those events that was in there.
Okay. And then a scene is.
So a scene begins with a dramatic question and like that you answer through like the interplay of specific characters.
Okay. I would say this is probably an event. If it's an event, can I say what happened?
It's an event. It's a note in history.
And they recover the staff.
Interesting.
Is this the right color?
Would you consider this to be a light or dark tone?
It's probably dark, actually.
Solid point of view.
I forget what color we decided for dark.
Pink.
Pink, great.
Or red.
Okay. There we go.
Okay. So that does relate to our lens. So that's an event added. Diana, it is your turn to add something to our timeline.
Excuse me, Crystal?
Oh, Crystal, of course. I'm sorry, Crystal.
Yep, no problem. So I can add an event if I wanted.
You can add a period, an event, or a scene.
Okay, so if I wanted to add an event, that has to be a sticky note on here somewhere?
Yeah, so all of these are going to be sticky notes on our page somewhere. So right now, our top level timeline, these are the periods. We have the Age of Elven Prosperity at the beginning. We have the Great Collapse at the end. Currently, no other known periods in the middle, but we assume that there are.
Okay. 2 questions. How many days are in a calendar year in this game?
It's 132 and a bit days in a year.
Okay, and the event, can it be related to the Great Collapse, or does it have to be related to the lens?
It has to relate to the lens, but it can be anywhere. So, for example, we don't know when this school was first established, right? That could have been recently, or it could have been like really far back. So you could add a period of time to the history, which would include potentially when that school was made.
Okay.
So the ruins of this thing, like that's not the only time that it existed in history. That's just when it was rediscovered. Any other moment when that school would have been interesting can be added in the appropriate spot on the timeline. And you'll note that there are no specific dates associated with any of these, and that's to give us the flexibility to add things in between and, fill in gaps with more items.
Okay.
The Jamboard?
They suggest a Jamboard.
Look at you go! I'm proud of you.
I don't think we can extend Jamboard further down, so it's going to get a bit cramped by the end.
What? Look at it in different areas and just jump to a new page. Anyway, let's go to that.
I don't want to be jumping around to that many pages.
Is that great?
Okay, I've added my event. 3,000 years after the School of Magic, the long heat began. The long heat was so severe that it lasted.
Don't give specific numbers to anything.
Oh. Okay.
So yeah, no numbers.
It's like the long heat began.
Many years.
Yeah, so right now we don't actually have a period of the long heat. So a period of the long heat, which includes something about the school, would be an excellent period to add to our timeline. So as long as you describe, even if just in words, not necessarily on the ticket or on the postie itself, how the long heat relates to the School of Magic, that would be enough. And you can give more detail, but yeah, the long heat sounds like an excellent, interesting period to add to the timeline.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
We need to answer if it's dark or bright, right? Actually, she needs to answer if it's dark or bright.
Yeah.
It's dark.
Oh.
There.
Ooh,
A student studying dark magic. They cast
Ooh.
a spell which began the long heat.
awesome. So that happens in between here somewhere. And I'm just going to add.
That's exciting. That's a good one.
Beautiful. So the long heat is a period. So that'll be just our establishing description to go with it. I love it.
That's so good. Holy.
That would be kind of event, right? In the period, right, David?
So this is a period, and then this is Crystal's description of what that period is about.
Okay.
Or what was the catalyst, right?
Yeah. That way we know what we're talking about when we're talking the long heat. I love it. So Crystal has added to the timeline. Diana.
Sticky note. I'm gonna add another period. The Elven Civil War. I can spell that. And the Elven Civil War must happen after the Long Heat because the school existed during the Long Heat, but during the Civil War, the school was destroyed. Hence, we have ruins. With the school being destroyed, that would be an event, probably?
That would be an event, but even just during the Elven Civil War, if that's when many of these kinds of places are destroyed, like we will
Lots
get
of cultural things are destroyed during the Civil War.
Yeah, that's enough of a connection that we can go with it. Wow, this is looking dark. Melissa.
Oh no, I don't have anything cool.
Well, you can take a look at any of these, something relating to our School of Magic, and we now have 2 extra time periods that you could be adding things to.
Yeah, I'll add an event, like a light event. So, after the age of Elven prosperity, School of Magic Naveen encountered their first group of students.
Oh, so this school dates back right to the very earliest days of Varsolaris settlement. Whoa!
This group of students consists mainly of children of local farmers who doesn't want to inherit their family farm.
Interesting. Where is this? Oh, there it is.
Yeah, it's not long after the age of Elven prosperity.
Oh, so that would be an event inside the Age of Elven Prosperity.
Okay, inside then. Yeah.
So, yeah, it goes under that as its heading. So the period is the Age of Elven Prosperity, and the Fiend School is established very early on. So, yes, as reading these books, in the earliest volumes, there's mention of the establishment of the Nafine School of Magic.
Exactly.
Felipe.
All right. So let's here we go. First, let's go here and create and then go.
A lot of ages.
You can put that one present day actually.
Beg your pardon?
Get it? You can put that present day because get it? Because I'm a great scholar. No, just me. Okay. Never mind.
So after the Age of Prosperity, it started to get a great immigration of scholars.
Okay, would this be an event during the Age of Prosperity, or is this a period all unto itself?
I think it could be an event, yeah. I think this event can be before the creation of the first group of students.
Okay.
So those would be kind of the teachers of those.
Oh,
at
that's
some
the
point.
teachers. That's so cool. So there's like a super diverse group of professors because they're from everywhere. That's so neat.
This would be one of the first multicultural immigrations to Varsolaris because it had just been elves originally coming here. Or maybe
Very
they were only
interesting.
pulling elves, or primarily. What was it like, Felipe? You've got the driver's seat. I shouldn't be making suggestions.
No, yeah, I think they would be just elves, but it is immigration from different families because we know from previous history that were only 4 families that come, and then it would be different families of elves that came to be these scholars that because they thought they were more specialized in scholar thing.
Okay.
Yes.
And Liam.
Okay. All right. I have a big event that shadows the Civil War. How do I make one? Here we go.
Found the post-it note button. So you're doing an event, not a scene?
Yeah. I'm just typing it out. Give me one hot second. And boom. Oops. Boom. It's not got a background. Hold on. All right. I want to say that it was a discovery from a prominent professor in the Fiend School of Magic that due to the immense losses from the Elven Civil War, a mad kind of grief-stricken great genius was put his entire effort and that of his whole faculty into this trying to discover a spell that that could bring back the war dead, and he was cast out because it would more often than not make these fine elves into abominations as they saw it.
Ooh. Okay, so this is so he's like emulating the. Shouldn't be giving suggestions, but
Okay,
like that
listen,
is like
if
a
you
druid
got
spell that you're
suggestions,
trying
I'm
to wizard.
absolutely open to it.
Yeah,
because
but
I'm
like,
not
like, as a
100% sure how
wizard
your brand of
breaking
magic
into
works.
Druid magic. I love that idea. So
Yeah, that
somewhere
was the
out
idea.
there is a wizard version of the Reincarnate spell.
And if you wanted to look at this guy, his name, I have it written here, is
Add it to the note.
yeah, I have a real sticky note so you guys couldn't see it. The guy's name is
Perfect.
Tarian Terries. He is a very memorable and very easy to remember name. And Tarian Terries, also known as Terry for short, he had this sort of weird complexion where his whole body wasn't entirely elven. It was a little bit weirdly corrupted here and there with like maybe some gills, some
Okay.
bark instead of hair. You never know. Kind of a crazy dude. Anyway, that's my event.
A few magical accidents in the transmutation lab.
Indeed, indubitably.
Okay. So we've gone through the cycle, and now, so that's the end of our lens. Lens is now done for now, unless somebody chooses it again. Now we go back one in the rotation, so that would be you, Liam. You get to pick
Again.
something as a legacy now, something that is interesting that you'd like to maybe come back to some more.
Oh, what do you mean by that? What's a legacy?
Let's
Like
just,
something like a holdover from one of these events?
yeah. choose a new legacy. Legacies. Legacies are common threads that may stretch through time and influence history. A legacy can take many forms: an object, person, place, bloodline, organization, or even a philosophical idea. So the player to the right of the lens now looks back over what happened during that focus and picks something to be a legacy. It has to be something that appeared in play during this round, either for the first time or reappearing from something that happened earlier in the game. So you're not making anything new, just singling out something already there. Something specific that you might be interested in.
Okay, I kind of have a. Let me know if this doesn't work.
Yep.
But I kind of like the idea of the long heat being immediately followed by the Elven Civil War, kind of being like a sort of depression era. So maybe like a legacy of this lens is the sort of depression era of the Elven society at the time. Is that a thing, or should I just single out like an actual event?
Like the long heat.
I'm not sure how it's going to be used.
And its lead up to the Elven Civil War. I think that makes a good legacy.
Or just the aftermath of the Elven Civil War, how like in shambles the economy and probably and like human capital or Elven capital is.
All of those sound good. So I'll let you pick one of like whichever one you went like.
We'll just do the aftermath of the years of strife.
So now, with your choice, you pick any of the legacies that have been chosen so far, which yours will be the only one so far. So now you get to create an event or a dictated scene. So like a scene that you just give us the details what happened. But not a period and not a played out scene. It does not have to relate to any focus because there currently is no focus. So now you can just add one thing relating to your chosen legacy.
A scene? A specific scene?
You may give a scene or an event.
Okay.
So if like the long heat is what you're adding as a legacy.
Can I do like the banning of the reincarnation spell? Is that a thing that I could put on there as like a scene?
Something that is interesting and you think is going to come back to multiple times, like that as a thread throughout history. Take it, make it a legacy. By making the legacy, it's important.
Okay, I think that the spell of reincarnation is very important. We use it apparently in this group like every 2 sessions. So I think that's pretty interesting. Yeah, I'm gonna choose for my like scene, I guess. The scene of the government of this time, of this place, seeing fit to banning the spell of reincarnation that has so recently been widely adopted.
Okay, and even the wizards are getting in on this action.
Everyone's getting in on it.
And
now
people
are mad about it. They don't like it.
Now it's been absolutely banned.
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, add. All right. Say it. So who's in the?
Should I give like a character that this revolves around?
As much detail as you think is needed. But yeah, you can add that as a note. Slide it under the spell of reincarnation discovered, and we'll add a legacy. And each legacy that, like when you take it, you could I think it goes to a person. We'll just add a legacy note. Legacy, let's make green.
Okay. Okay. So I want to defer to my group a little bit. Can I do that? Can I ask like for some advice from the other people, or is that not allowed?
You're supposed to generally not be soliciting a whole bunch of advice for scenes that are played. There gets to be discussion about what tone it has, or we agree that it had.
Okay. I'm just sort of wondering about the governance structure of the empire. Do we know yet if it's like if it's a kingdom or a empire or?
There's at one point there was reference to an emperor who had disappeared. That was fairly late in history. So, but exactly what the governance structure was is not something that's widely discussed or known.
Okay. Okay. All right. Boom.
Okay, so that is. Oh, sorry.
Oh, okay, there.
I grabbed
That's
it.
fine.
I was being
You
grabby.
do it. Yeah.
All right, and that's an event.
That is.
Or that was that
It can
scene,
be a
rather.
scene. Honestly,
Sure, let's
Mm.
it could be a
set
scene.
that under the discovery of that as a scene. And how did people generally react to that? Was that a positive thing, or a light thing, or a dark thing?
Definitely a dark thing.
Then
Definitely a
let's
dark
color
thing.
it in our dark color.
I assume. I don't know. Depends what direction you guys take it.
Well, you're the one dictating the scene, so you get to choose what it's perceived as.
Okay. Let's say it can be for certain people dark, for certain people good. It really depends on your political stance. And as far as
But you're
people
absolutely-
to act,
That's the thing with most of history, but we're asking you right now.
yeah, for me,
Which is to say that
it's kind of a
the author
box of
the book that you're
frogs.
reading.
I think it's probably negative. I feel like book burning's always negative, so that's just me personally.
Done.
I
Alright.
kind of want to have. Can I choose people to act in it?
Not during a focus, or not
Okay.
during a legacy round.
Okay, fair enough.
But
I'll
we can
just leave
certainly
it there
come
then.
back to it later.
Fair enough.
All right, so now we've gone around the full circle. So now, Kaylee, you get the lens, and you get to choose what we are going to focus on for the next round. I'm going to step back for now, and I'm just going to interpret rules, and I will let you do things. If you have questions about what has happened and been established already, because like one of the rules is just that, like, you can do anything you want as long as you don't directly contradict anything that we've already.
Okay.
No, it's just the last person in the round gets to do the legacy thing.
Okay.
So I get to pick focus like you did?
Yeah, you pick the lens. So like I picked Nafine, the School of Magic. Now it's your turn to pick something to focus on.
What do I want to focus on? I want to focus. Okay, I gotta generate a name. Oh my god, there's so many name generators in here.
Isn't Fantasy Name Generator great? Fantasy Name Generator. It has what you're looking for. You just might not be able to find it right away.
Okay.
You can also use rap name generator.
There,
and just have
perfect.
some really cool names.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure Fantasy Name Generator has that buried in there somewhere
Oh
too.
no.
I have
It's
to find the
King
jam board
Drizzle.
again. There it
No.
is. Okay. Just gonna copy this because I'm lazy. I focus on. I gotta. Come on, let me copy you. Thank you. Yeah.
And because we are like researching the history of the House of Tyr, everything, like the majority of thing will, like relate to House Tyr somehow.
Okay.
But it doesn't have to. I was just going to say that it doesn't have to only be House Tyr stuff, but it
Okay.
should. It should be generally things that concern House Tyr.
I would like to focus on the undersea city of Elthing
Ah,
because I want there to be an undersea city. And I have some ideas. Okay, so we have a lens. Now I forget what happens.
so now you get to make one period, event, or scene. And because you are the player with the lens, you may further help set the scene by creating if you create a period, you may immediately create an event under it. Or if you create an event, you may immediately create a scene under it.
Okay, I would like to create an event. later in the Elven Age of Prosperity.
Okay.
And then I will create a scene.
Off to the corner then.
And my event is I'm tying things together. The Scholars of
Underneath.
Athene establish. Wait. Okay. There we go. Down there. So some of the scholars from Daphne who specifically studied ocean magic create their own school in their own little city under the sea.
Uh-huh.
And I can create a scene under that. And so that scene is going to be
So the scene, you want to lead with a question.
Okay. Oh, so I have to. Okay. So, okay. I have another idea.
And with your question, feel free to make it a very leading question.
Yeah.
Like, this is the why did you stop beating your wife kind of question. Like, have the question preloaded with a whole bunch of assumptions.
Okay. Here we go. How was the... How was this? Thank you, fantasy name generator. There we go. How was the storm snake Glengosh driven out? Wait, I'm gonna add so that the city can be established.
Is it one of the snakes that we already have in the lore?
I don't know.
We don't know yet.
There we go.
All right. So it'll be Kaylee, Crystal, Diana, and Melissa in the scene. Kaylee, you'll be the last to pick a character.
Okay. I don't have any specifications for what characters.
Is there anybody who must be there and anybody who must not be there?
No. I want to see what happens. I'm out of ideas, and I want to see what happens. Havachi.
Okay. So, like, Glengosh the Storm Snake is a character right there that could be taken.
Okay. So I guess I'm going first. I'm gonna play as Victoria, and that's a Pescatonian.
Ooh. Good choice. Oh, should we delete these characters from the Oh no, we should.
We'll maybe just move them over to the scene that they related to.
Back here.
Yeah. So that if we do something at that time again, we can revisit those characters, but they don't exist this late in the history, or this early in the history, so.
It's a long time before they were born.
That's exactly right.
If we have to fight a storm snake at some point, I'm not sorry.
I've waited a long time for this.
Oh no.
I don't even know what a storm snake entails.
Oh, who's taking the storm snake as a character?
Somebody who wants him to be upside down. Why is he upside down?
Liam wants to play the snake.
It's not. Don't Diana and Melissa get to pick perk first?
Diana picks, and then Melissa picks. Yep.
Me and Liam, we are out of the loop this time.
If you want to be in a scene, you need to create a scene. Like the rules do say like everybody should be in the scene, but like it also says that it bogs down terribly if you have too many people in the scene. So I'm keeping it to 4. I think seems reasonable. Diana, you were muted when you were speaking.
Oh, there we go. I was making a card, so I will be. It's impossible to pronounce name.
Cornaith.
Orny.
Cornai.
Cornaith? Sure. Cornaith, a powerful wizard.
Is elf or also Episcopalian?
Oh, also elf. Yes, elf.
Okay.
Own elf.
Can we put the name of the...
Or...
Sorry, go ahead.
Melissa.
Can we put the name of the family we're relating things to in here somewhere?
Oh, like the house tier just along the top, something?
Yeah, just so that I can remember who they are.
Yeah. So let's make it. Oh, we can make text boxes. Cool.
I will be playing and Zana Windflow. Thank you, fantasy name generator. She is
Name generator is our friend.
exactly it's our friend. She is an elf. She is also a widow, but she is specialized in civil engineering magic. So her thing is kind of like building bridges and then like moving lands and stuff like that. It's just like a little bit of like terraforming. She's going to join the conquest of the Storm Snake.
Okay. And Kaylee.
I guess. I want to be the snake. I want to be my creation.
Lovely. All right.
Okay.
So now, initial thoughts. Or sorry, first Kaylee sets the initial scene. Where are we going to begin?
Okay, so we're gonna begin on a large plateau undersea, like a large flat seabed, surrounded by beautiful coral reefs, where the storm snake is curled up and sleeping.
I love it.
It's the size of a city.
Okay.
Oh, so it's a fairly small one then.
Yeah.
Just a baby.
No one knows if they grow forever or not. We'll find out.
Okay. Crystal, your thoughts are the thoughts of Victoria, our Episcopalian prospector.
Okay, I'm thinking, I can't believe I agreed to do this. I am going to get myself killed.
Lots of people die in history. I mean, that's easy. Cornaith. Corneath? Diana.
Yeah. Understand why just with Discord I have to get stupid close to this microphone. Only Discord.
There should be a spot you can take the sensitivity down manually.
Yeah, I'll play with that in a second. He's running through spells in his head and thinking, finally a challenge worthy of my skills. Because apparently he's arrogant like that.
I mean, elf plus wizard, arrogance usually falls out there for free. All right. And Zara. This is way too small for me to read.
Okay, let me increase the size.
And Zana.
I think Enzana has been dreaming about building this city under. So she is very excited to finally able to kind of like do her plan, because like she already got like the blueprint and the technology and all the magics that needs to build like this under city, and they just need to get rid of like this snake.
Okay. And Glengosh.
Glengosh is dreaming of eating sharks.
Right.
Oh, the
Simple life.
baby. So guilty now.
You are now ready to play the scene. The player making the scene can choose to say who is present when the scene starts. Players can have other characters enter the scene whenever they want.
Okay. Well, I think you would probably all be coming down here as a expedition group. So probably when the scene starts is when you guys come within my area of perception.
Sounds about right.
Okay. And then we start, I guess.
Begin. Make it happen.
So I'm just sleeping and listening as you approach.
All right.
Nath opens with a control spell of some sort.
Oh shit!
Yeah, I've never played a high-level wizard, so something in the realm of paralysis.
Oh damn!
He's going on like offense.
Yeah,
suddenly.
immediate combat.
Immediately.
Okay.
Does paralysis work on a storm serpent?
The size of a city? Probably not.
Very powerful wizard here. Come
Yeah.
on.
Maybe it like impedes my movement a little bit, but you can't tell. So I just kind of like open one eye and go, "Who dares?"
I like it.
We're underwater, right?
Yeah.
You're underwater right now.
And yet somehow a trickle of cold sweat.
I assume you have some kind of spell keeping you breathing.
Yeah, we
Just
have like the
freediving.
water breathing spell.
Yeah. I just kind of raise my head and look at these tiny things.
And Zana is going to go to, oh my god, Coordinate, and then she's going to shout like, "Why did you just attack the snake? I thought this is not the plan. I thought we're just going to like remove the snake and move it to somewhere else. It's a baby snake."
I am far older than you, mortal.
I love it.
We're small.
How dare you come here?
Look, you're in the way of our city. You
I
gotta
see no
shoo.
city here.
Shoo. I cast fireball. Shoo.
We're underwater, bro.
But she's a very powerful wizard.
Little wizard, okay? It's the only wizard spell I could think of.
He's like that powerful.
Does
that,
it
like,
work
It's the only
underwater?
wizard spell that matters.
If you're completely submerged in water, fire does half damage. So yeah, a fireball can go off and it's hot.
Well, you don't want to panic
Okay.
and cast fireball, okay?
I kind of make a horrible underwater snake noise.
Oh, with
Oh, no.
that, I'm gonna start running I guess swimming towards you, because I'm a Pescatonian, so I can swim pretty damn fast.
Uh-huh.
And at the same time, I have like something in my hand, which is like a makeshift bomb, and I'm going to sacrifice myself by swimming inside your mouth and like blowing up.
Oh
Holy
I'm
shit!
like tears are streaming down my face as I'm like getting closer. And
Underwater
closer.
tears.
Oh my
Yeah.
god!
Oh my god.
Salt water into the salt water.
These scenes always go crazy. What happens next?
Okay. So I guess I am opening my mouth to shoot some kind of horrifying boiling water at these peasants, and then a bomb goes down my throat, and I kind of fall, and I'm heavy enough that I actually like hit the seafloor a little bit away from you, and I'm just sort of stunned for a second, I guess.
Yeah, does that take you out?
I don't think it kills me. I think it kind
I
of
don't-
stuns
okay,
me for a second, though.
Okay, I think and Zana, like, she saw that it kind of like stunned the storm snake language for a little bit, so she's going to make some kind of like strong water bubble to trap the storm snake. Yes, yeah, yeet it out of like the space that we're going to build city on.
Okay.
So
And then-
violent so quickly.
Yeah, damn. I was thinking when I was making this that either the snake could be persuaded to leave or could be chased off, and you immediately chose violence.
Kamikaze!
You can give those
I
ideas
absolutely love it.
as part of the lead up to your scene as well. Like you can
Yeah.
give hints as to how you think it might go.
No, I just
That's
wanted to
perfect.
see how it was gonna go.
Yeah.
I did not expect Diana to immediately choose violence on sight.
I love it.
I know that's what
Never an
Aurorith would
option.
do, but
It's never an option.
okay. So I guess as I'm flown off in a bubble, I say that I will hound this city forever, and eventually it will fall.
I will be back.
Yeah, you've made an enemy.
Okay.
There we go.
What character has Crystal just introduced?
All right.
An absolute kamikaze.
Is Crystal just gonna add an extra character into every scene at the end?
No adding gods.
Oh, damn it!
Dude,
Oh,
there's gonna be a.
God.
I swear, Victoria's gonna have a shrine or like an altar in the city. Like there's gonna be a monument
The
to the
only
brave Pescatonian who
the
died.
only god up here is Glengosh.
That's
Okay, so give an answer to your question in your note, and we'll put all these people next to their.
Suicide bombing and bubbles is the answer.
At least he's not dead.
The novel strategy. No one tried that before. That was the first.
All right. So that was Kaylee's scene. Crystal, it's your turn.
Okay.
Wait, what was Melissa's character's name? I can't see it as I'm trying to write the
Uh,
answer in.
And Zana.
Sorry.
And
Okay.
Zana?
Here, I'm just gonna pull it up so I can see it.
You took the pink one. There you go. Oh, sorry, I was trying to move it too. All right. I should have try a portal, push it through portal. I should have Taddy's giving some great commentary on the side. I should have that open where I can see it. readily.
Ooh.
Oh, Tati!
Hey.
Hi, Tatiana!
Tatiana, everyone says hi.
Can she not hear us?
I like the kamikaze tactic.
Yes, you can.
Tachi says hi, everyone. All right. So, Crystal, it's your turn. You may make a period, an event, or a scene relating to the undersea city of Elthing.
Okay. Let's see. I'm just writing it out.
Okay. Yeah, and since you know your turn is coming, everyone, if feel free to just start in between, in the in between times, getting started on whatever you're wanting to add.
I'm gonna change this to dark.
Oh no.
I'm gonna change this scene to dark.
Yeah, that's the scene color gets chosen at the end of the scene.
Yeah, I feel like that y'all made an enemy.
Sorry.
So I could have like
No, it's
this.
great.
Chosen violence.
Like, is that okay?
So that would be so that would not be a period, which would be up there. So you would put that as an event underneath.
Here.
I feel like we need more for the Age of Prosperity. We need more room.
We'll start shoring things up a bit.
I mean, the great thing is, in the Age of Prosperity, these all sound like absolute, legendary folk tales. You know what I mean? They all have the same sort of folk tale quality to them. What we're going
for.
bombing in bubbles, moving a great snake to found a great scholarly city. That's so dope. That's so cool.
Do we know how long ago it was?
This is the period that includes when the elves first arrived. On our original timeline, that lasted until let's see, up until the first Elven Dark Age, which was marked by high mortality rates and around the time when dragons first arrived. And that was before the Varsolaris Age of Expansion, which then led to the last Golden Age, which then led to the Great Mana Depletion, and then the Great Collapse, were the major keystone events in the first timeline. Okay, so event, a shrine of pure gold made to Victoria, and over the years, Victoria was eventually treated as a local god. All right, that sounds like a great event. Would you color this event light or dark?
I would call it light.
All right. So give it a nice yellow color, and this one over here, I'm going to give a nice dark color. That was still blue. Okay, so that was Crystal. Diana's turn.
I will add an event in the long heat, but it will actually be a good event.
Mm-hmm.
So what I'm thinking is, since presumably the rest of the continent is turning into a desert, everybody is heading for the undersea city where everything's, cooler and there's actually water, and it's just far more pleasant to live than anywhere on land. So it's causing a boom period for the undersea city.
I like it.
I will attempt to summarize this in a sticky note now.
Yeah, and these sticky notes don't have to be super verbose, because what you say is more important than what's written down. Hey, it's great that we're streaming and ergo recording all this. Isn't that right, Tachi? It is indeed just like Greek mythology, except it's elves. And some of these other cool. And like, remember that like this city belongs to nobody. So Kaylee decreed that it was created at a certain time. Feel free to nuke it at some later time. Right? Like,
If you don't, I will. Glenn Gosh will be back.
It's like on the corner there waiting for his turn.
like, but yeah, like, and like even characters don't belong to any single person. Like you play them for the scene, but they're then public property. Everything is public. Nobody owns anything. Diana added the rising temperatures. Melissa.
Okay. During the Elven Civil War after the Long Heat, I will add an event. So it's like the undersea city of Eldling was the only city that kind of like prosperous during the Long Heat, like they survived. So there was like all to join the war, to pick sides. And the city of Eldling doesn't want to do that, and they don't have their own like army. So they are forced to join force with Glenglosh in order to protect their city.
Ooh.
From the rest of the continent?
Please doodle
Yeah,
on
from the rest
slide
of the
one,
continent.
but we are going to run out of room on this slide, I think. Whoever was doodling in the top corner. Thank you. Because I don't think we can all move around doodles the same way we can move around Post-it notes.
Yeah, I'm just.
All right. So, Melissa and the Elven Civil War. Sorry, I missed part of that at the end. Oh, you're typing up a note.
Yeah,
No
I'm
worries.
typing
Oh.
up like the summary. Okay.
Glengosh was the Storm Snake. Oh,
Yeah, he's still around. They are still around.
He's still there. They're
Yeah,
still there.
They're still there.
okay. So they make amends with Glengosh somehow for protection of
Yeah,
their
because-
city.
They don't want to join the war, but like sooner or later the war is coming to their side, so they have to like have some kind of protection.
Would that contradict what we already established with Glengosh, like wanting like nothing to do with the city and wanting to just come back and destroy it? Or is like what you say goes, unless it directly contradicts something already established.
There
So,
could be a mitigating circumstance, like I think they could get.
so something must, like something that must have happened in between that changed something along the way. And was this before or after the discovery and the banning of the spell of reincarnation? Because you can go on either side.
This is in the middle of the Civil War, so I think it should be before the banning of the spell.
The spell wasn't invented till late in the war.
So still
This
go
is
here.
definitely before the spell.
It's like before the spell.
I agree.
Okay. So that's our order. Interesting. So Glengosh is driven out, but later is convinced to help protect the city.
Yeah, that's the gist.
Felipe, we finally returned to you, my friend.
All right. This is a scene that will place
Interesting.
after the discovery of the reincarnation spell and also during the ban of it. So the must-be character that needs to be on this scene needs to be Great Youth, And the other one needs to be, what is the name of the guy?
Terry.
The Cree one.
Tyrion Terry's. Yeah, Tyrion Terry's.
Tyrion
It's basically
Terry's. The Cree.
Yeah, just Terry twice
The
basically.
Cree High Council. It's High Council or High something. Wait, it's
Chancellor.
Yeah,
Chancellor.
the High Chancellor needs to be involved in this. So those two are. It needs to be in there, and any other character. Not
Oh,
banned
right.
characters on this.
That's interesting.
And we had also had a long name that might have belonged to that druid, right?
Nope.
Along what?
I think it's like your sire.
Yes.
Who?
Oh yeah, you weren't here last week. The
Oh.
Dryads had name dropped. And where did somebody put that? I saw
I
somebody
think
put
it's-
it, so I
it's in the open mystery somewhere.
By
I
the
remember
way,
I
the
put
Great
that there.
Youth is an elf. Let me add there.
At this point.
Yes.
Oh. But then,
So who's crazy youth?
The druid who keeps reviving us,
Oh,
aka the
that's
man
Crazy Youth.
responsible for our existence,
Oh, interesting. Oh, I
aka
really like where
possibly a
this is
cursed
going.
elf who invented reincarnation. Apparently,
That's so cool. That's so cool. Is that not awesome?
You see?
Nicely done.
that's quite cool.
Way to tie it all in.
Okay, so I guess it's Leon, Kaylee, and Crystal, right? And me. So Leon would be to choose one character, Kaylee and Crystal two characters as well, and then me. Oh, by the way, I need to choose where this is placed, right?
It has to do something with the undersea city
Yes.
of Elfling.
It has to have something to do with the undersea city of Elthing, and that's where Uith is from.
So I guess it would be in the city, in the school, because they create their own school and city, right? So in the school that
but
is
you could
inside
put
of
it
the
at
city.
any point in history.
Yeah, the school that
that
is
is
inside
a-
of it would be in the school that is inside of the city. Yeah, in the school that is inside of the city.
Oh, his real name is Yosef Salash.
There we go. What channel did that get put into?
I put it into general. But he was in Thursday night OOC for some reason.
Why did somebody put it in Thursday night at OC?
Oh, you have the other names. Okay, so let's
Is
add the
there?
other names to be very specific. How to spell it?
Yusuf
Um,
Salash?
I put it in general channel.
Cool.
Thank you.
I'm updating your post-it note for you.
Thank you.
All right. So, Liam, you are the first to choose a character. Oh,
Hold
the
on
first.
here.
Yeah,
I'm
you're the
gonna
first to choose a character.
Yes, I was just gonna put a couple of names out here. I want to be so okay. Before I choose, Felipe, what kind of like theme are you thinking of going for this?
I don't
Like-
know. We will discover during the scene.
We discovered during the scene, and Chancellor Kree is there.
We only need to have those two characters, and we need to answer the question. It's how Yusuf Salash got cursed.
Okay. I will play Terry and Terry's. I was gonna stay away from it, but I think I'm just gonna do it.
Okay. Kaylee, you're the next to choose.
I think that I would like to be a
Fly on the
victim.
wall.
Sorry? Yeah, fly on the I mean yeah. No. I'm just typing this and then I'll say what it is because I type slowly.
This is really interesting. I think this is a very interesting scene.
Look at these juicy tidbits that you're
These
getting
are
from
juicy.
these old books that you found. Like, a lot of it is really dry, like, number of, like, kids born or number of turnips, like, that came through, that they were traded for. Yeah, but some of it is pretty salacious stuff here.
Tatiana has a lot of like good ideas also. I'm just like reading her chats. So awesome.
Ooh.
Reincarnated or revived?
Reincarnation. Oh, what? I can't see that.
Yeah.
And my name is Corey of Anders.
Can you make
So
it
small.
a little bit bigger so in the stream it show?
Yeah, there we
I
go.
love this.
Maybe it's a family name.
I can't
Maybe
wait
it's
till
a
I hear.
family name.
I can't wait till I hear your goblin voice. That's gonna be great.
Oh,
look to it.
you haven't watched any of our extra life streams, have you?
No, I haven't. I'll confess.
All right, so that was Kaylee. Crystal,
Okay.
you still have one character that needs to be taken, or two characters that need to be taken, right?
No,
Yeah.
Leon already picked the Tyrion Terrius.
Tyrion Terry's was one that had to be there, and High
Yes.
Chancellor Kree also has to be taken. So yeah, we do have one
Oh.
left, and
The
if you don't take it, Felipe has to.
the Tyrion Terrius is the High Chancellor Kree, right?
No, he's the guy. He's the scholar who discovered the spell.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, Tyrion
What
Terry
he had,
discovered the spell. Chancellor Kree banned it. And Chancellor Kree, and did you say Yusef Sai needs to be in there too?
Yes.
Or Yusef Salash?
Yeah, this is how Yusuf gets the.
Yeah, because it's getting banned.
Yes.
Why is he getting banned for a thing that Terry and Terry's made?
Yusef Salash?
Yeah.
Or maybe they're just gossiping about like Joseph Salash. And then suddenly let's just curse this person.
Well, and the curse might not have come from any of these people. I mean, that might have come from Lengosh, for all we know.
Ooh.
So, Crystal, you need to pick one of the two characters that need to be in the scene that have not been picked yet.
That crazy name Yusalash.
So that's,
Yeah.
Crazy Uif, as you know him now.
Oh, I could be him. Okay, I'll be him.
Yeah, dude.
You can take Crazy Uif.
Yeah.
He is not a gnoll yet. He is currently an elf.
Ooh.
And he's gonna get cursed.
Mhm.
I'm gonna get cursed. All right.
You
Yeah.
are. I'm gonna do it too.
Did you miss the dramatic question? The dramatic question is, how did great Yusef Salash, also known as Uif, from Ething City, get cursed with eternal reincarnation?
You get the curse. You get
Oh
the
wait,
curse.
wait, wait. We
Everybody
got
get a
two
Cursing
curse.
or a
slashes.
blessing?
What's happening here?
No, he's not getting cursed with eternal
Felipe,
reincarnation.
High
He's getting
Chancellor Kree is the
cursed
one who's
for.
left. Very good.
Oh, nice. Oh, you gave him a last name.
There we go.
Well, we are talking about the house too, right? So let's connect it.
Great.
Oh, you're so smart. Oh crap. Okay. Cool.
All right, Felipe, this is your scene. Where do we begin?
So the scene will place inside of the school, and probably on the very particular place where, what is the name? Tyrion Tyrius discovered the reincarnation spell. Shall begin.
This is like the laboratory, or the
I don't
study
know.
or
I don't know
whatever?
how it's scholars if they have laboratory to
don't
create
know
spells or
either.
whatever. But yeah, it's
It's canon. They use labs now. They have
Okay,
labs for
that's it then.
science for science magic.
Magitech, sure.
Magitech. And they have nano suits and they can run around shooting lasers. I don't know. Not that. Okay. So Tyrion Terry's face already slightly deformed, right? Is very angry, visibly at Yusuf Salash, shouting and like pushing him like that. Like very, very aggressive. And it's because Yusuf said that Tyrion was doing something wrong. Okay? That's where I'm gonna set it. So I'm gonna say
So that's your inner thoughts right now.
Yeah. So Tyrion shoves Yusuf and says, "Why do you come to my study and tell me how to do my job? Huh? Who do you think you're kidding, Yusuf? Crazy Yusuf."
And Kaylee, your character's thoughts.
I feel like my character is. So we're in the like laboratory, yeah?
Yeah, like the magical research
Okay.
facility in the school, like one of the highly experimental magic centers.
So my character is waking up on some kind of magical circle, going, "What happened to me?"
All right. And Crystal, what are you thinking right now? Your inner thoughts and like what do you think it might happen? You can also add what like your perception of events can all alter things right now.
Okay, so a couple questions. This spell of reincarnation, did I discover that, or
I'm gonna say it hasn't been.
Canonically, Tyrion Terry's is the one who discovered it from a wizard's point of view. But this is also druid magic, which may have existed well before wizards were studying it.
okay? And this event, how this character from Ithlin City got cursed for internal reincarnation. What does that mean? Cursed for internal carnation.
Or cursed with eternal, not internal, eternal.
Like he can never die.
Oh, I can never die. Okay.
Yeah.
Shit, that changes things.
Yeah,
Well, actually, no, it doesn't.
which is why
But
Crazy
not yet.
Youth
You're still mortal.
Yeah, which is why Yusef Salah is now Crazy Youth, and instead of an elf, he's a gnoll, and who knows how many lives he's lived in between then and now.
Mm-hmm.
And at this point, am I eternal, or am I mortal?
This is before you. This is how you become immortal, basically. This is how you get the curse. So you're
yeah,
still
we
very
need
mortal.
to answer that question. How did Yusuf end up getting the curse?
Okay, I'm thinking I gotta bring him back. I can't live any longer. I have to bring him back.
Who do you need to bring back?
That's all I'm gonna say.
That's a mystery.
Uh,
That's the hook.
It's my baby, if you gotta know.
Oh no! Oh no! It's spoiled.
My little baby.
It's over.
Oh, it's getting.
That sucks.
It's my turn.
all right, and High Chancellor.
So High Chancellor slam the door and get inside of the lab and say, Tyrion, this has to stop. There are hundreds of people outside in a line waiting with like a piece of a hand and a piece of a body to reincarnate people that died during the war. This has to stop. It's hard. It's insane. Stop this madness.
So, Herod, basically, with one hand still using to bash Yusuf, turns to High Chancellor and says, "What do you know about anything? Where's your degree? What do you know? I don't care about the health standards. I don't care about your stupid chancellorship. I'm a professor. Gee, damn it.
I'm hideous.
It's
This is my world. Shut up."
I'm hideous. What did you do to me?
You
I'm
see,
green.
I'm just.
this is what I'm talking about. People are coming back, and families are complaining that they are not elves anymore. That their hairs are changing, and they are not like perfect always. This has to stop.
You know what? I've had it. Okay, we're just gonna try again, though, won't we? And he'll grab a big knife from the table, and he's gonna go to the goblin, and he's gonna cut his head off, and then reincarnate him. And say, maybe this time
Oh my
you can be an
God.
elf.
Make an example out of them.
Wait, I wanna fight this.
And I think you're a newly made goblin. I don't know if you're in any shape to fight.
I
crazy
mean,
old
I
guy,
just
but
came
go
off a
for it.
battlefield though.
Go for it. Fight him.
I wanna try and fight this, and
Yeah, so this would be in the rules for Microscope. This would be a push where you're proposing something that you think is more interesting, and then everybody will get to vote which of those two version of events becomes what happens.
Is it a struggle?
okay,
or
then my
is it a
version of
clean
events
kill?
is that I want to fight him and try and kill him.
So you want to catch the knife and turn it back on Tyrion Terry's?
Yes.
Hmm.
All right.
Okay.
So our two options are Tyrion Terry's kills this freshly reincarnated goblin, or this freshly reincarnated goblin sees the approach and turns the knife on Tyrion Terry's instead. So everybody gets to everybody vote for which one you think is the more interesting story. What do we have? Go to the shapes and just draw a shape over next to Kaylee or next to Liam for your vote.
Fight.
The shape of die. Who should die in this process? Who should be hurt?
Either the elf gets killed and reincarnated, or Tyrion Terry is gonna fight for his life against a naked goblin.
Version of events or Liam's version of events.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Oh,
Yeah.
I don't know what to choose.
Okay.
That's fascinating.
Crazy.
Ah!
What
Okay.
a turnaround.
I see 4 votes so far. Does that little scribble heart? There's a shape option that people can move around more easily. as
Oh,
well.
I see.
Did you vote, really?
I didn't, because I assumed that our votes are clear.
Or you can vote for somebody else's version of events for sure.
No, I want to
think
vote
that's
for
more
mine.
Interesting.
Okay.
I like the horror aspect of a crazy scientist. That's fine. All right, fair enough.
1,
Okay.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's one person who didn't vote, but that's okay.
Oh, am I supposed to vote for my own?
You're allowed to vote.
Okay.
So
That's a triangle.
there's
Triangles.
an option that is a shape.
There.
But okay, it looks like
Fine.
the more interesting story, as voted in a near thing, was that the knife gets turned, and Tyrion Terry is killed by his own creation on his own knife,
Okay.
which does actually sound rather dramatic.
I was just revived off a battlefield. I've still got
Still got some
battle
juice left in ya.
instincts.
So, while Tyrion is dying and say, this needs to stop. Look, the own guy that created the reincarnation is dying. Yusuf, please, you are the great one with great intelligence that is in favor of the nature as well. Make this stop.
Everybody, relax.
I got a cleaver stuck in my chest.
Okay, I'm just standing over you like.
Relax, guys. Take a breather.
I'm gonna take the cleaver out of your chest and cast healing on you.
Okay.
Push the goblin back and say, "Know your place."
Okay.
What?
And then
Oh.
if you try talk, I'm gonna like do another spell to like zip your lips shut.
Arian
And
sort of
then-
scrambles back against the wall like a scared dog.
Yeah. And then I'm gonna have a staff in my hand and I'm gonna slam it on the ground a couple of times. Everybody relax.
One question, David. We only say what or the character that we are interpreting can do, or we can.
You can see other things in the scene. You can control NPCs. Absolutely. Like if this is where a mob of angry soldiers breaks down the door and storms into the room. Absolutely,
No.
that happens if you say it.
I remember that Leon stipulate that Tyrion Terry's is like each part of his body is a piece of different creature or something like that. Is
Yeah,
that
a
right?
little bit. He's deeply tainted by druidic magic.
So there is a lot of magic around in him. So when Yusuf tried to heal him, something happened because of some mysterious magic that he had done in himself that would not allow to cure him like normally. And I don't know what is the.
What if it like?
It sort of backfired.
What if it like
Yes.
Yeah, it backfires. His cursed form rejects the reincarnation and or the healing, and it backfires on Yusuf.
Exactly was something like that I was thinking.
Okay, and I'm gonna
And
add
then
to this a little bit.
then in this case I think Tyrion would die and Yusuf would never know how actually Tyrion created all those things and never Tyrion is not able to be reincarnated and Yusuf would never know how that.
I'm gonna take it. Can I take it one step further? Can I say that as Yusuf goes to heal and lays his staff, basically points his staff at Tyrion's chest, as the spell is pronounced and finished, instead of like a healing magic going into the wound sort of starts to come towards and basically is sucked into Yusuf, and sort of as it goes, the life force sort of drains and Tyrion dies, sort of like limp ragdoll. How's that sound?
Ew, and all the blood's like out of his body, and it's just
Yeah,
like the
it's all, like,
skin
white
sucked
and
his
sort of-
skull.
Yeah, exactly.
And
No.
then we've answered the question.
Is that a little too
Oh,
dark? I
This
don't
is
know.
cool.
No.
It's a dark event. It's a dark scene. Yeah.
So is that how?
All right. I will let
think
someone
that it is.
update that tag with a short summary of what happened. We had these characters in it. And we'll tuck those behind once that's good. And Liam, you will get to wrap up this round.
Okay, I got a good one. It's also going to take place around the Elven Civil War,
Okay.
and it's going to be during the Festival of the Serpent. See what I did there? During the Festival of the Serpent, which is an annual festival in the city of, what's it called? Elthine?
Helping?
Yeah, Elthine. The visiting High Chancellor Judo is assassinated,
Ooh.
Ooh.
and it's right around the start of the Civil War. We'll say it's just barely predates the Civil War.
But it would be part of that era.
Well, I was thinking like maybe kicks it off. You never
Very
know.
likely. But yeah, it would come under that umbrella.
Okay, I'll make a note for that.
So yeah, if you're learning your history of Elven Civil War, the first page that you come to will be, the assassination of visiting Grand Chancellor, or whatever his rank was. That sounds like a fairly dark event.
All right. Boom. That's where you want it?
All right. And because I stepped back, I would should have been me that picked a legacy, but it would go back to Liam. Should we let Liam pick a legacy again, or should we let somebody else pick a legacy?
Just either you or Kaylee. I think that you guys
Well,
deserve
yeah, we'll
to
have
try one.
the person who's. I don't think the person who had the lens should pick the legacy, so maybe let's go the person ahead of them. Crystal, you may pick a legacy, and then create an event or scene, just a dictated scene about whatever you're choosing to keep as a legacy. Or about any legacy. So right now we've got use of the Reincarnation spell is one legacy, and you're about to add another one.
So I could say like legacy the first assassination or something like that.
Oh, the first. Very interesting.
Who's the dolphin that's saying "be right back"? Anonymous narwhal.
Okay, Melissa.
There we go.
I like the sort of Morse code almost. It's like it's encoded. Cool. Better me.
I don't know that we can call anything right now the first assassination.
How about
Because-
the assassination?
Or the assassination of the Chancellor.
Yeah.
All right, that is certainly something that would be a legacy. Absolutely.
Sadly, I can't do the first one. That's so cool. I'm all for the first assassination.
Yeah. Well, we don't know that it's going to be the first one.
It's foreshadowing. I'll do another one if it comes to me.
All right.
So I have to do a scene too, or just the legacy?
And now you may make a dictated scene, or like where you just give a scene and say what happens, or make an event relating to either legacy that is in play.
So could I do like Actually no. Give me a second. I have to think. Can I do like the Chancellor's bodyguard turns on him? Or he's like a double agent?
Sure. And also remember that the patron deity of House Tyr is Blue the Archer. Is one of the other pieces of known information.
I'm not sure where this should go.
So that would probably tuck under this as a scene.
Okay.
And is the bodyguard the one who, like, did he assist in the assassination, or like just let the assassin in? Was he the assassin? How did that scene play out?
He's the assassin.
Okay. So, High Chancellor Judo's personal assistant turned out to be a double agent who assassinated the assassinated Chancellor Judo. Interesting indeed. And all right, we'll make our legacies green so that way we can spot them. And Crystal, you may pick a focus for the new round, and whatever you choose will be the thing that everything has to relate to. You are the lens.
Okay, let's see. I'm gonna do a grand celebration.
Ooh. All right, you'll need to be a little bit more specific than that, I think.
Okay, so around this festival, everyone celebrates and takes a day off to worship the serpent, and it's a grand affair. They have like a parade and food and drinks, and everyone's just having a good old time.
Okay, and the serpent is the thing that they're celebrating, not their house deity. Interesting indeed.
Interesting.
A grand celebration of the serpent, you said?
Oh yeah.
Inside the Appling City?
Not necessarily. This probably spread elsewhere.
Yeah, it's across a bunch of different like nations all over the continent.
Well, specifically, we're looking at the rise and fall of House Tier.
Yeah.
So that is like our sort of global restriction, is that things will relate back to House Tier somehow. All right, Crystal, you kick us off. You may create a period or an event, and as the lens, you may then pick or make one event immediately under a period or one scene immediately under an event, as long as it's the one you just created.
I just want to say one thing. Tatiana is going, so thank you for being watching. She's very curious to see the end result later.
All right, well, the end results will be up on Twitch, this very channel.
So can an event be like a new government being formed?
That sounds like a great event.
Okay, that happens after the
So that would
Civil
be,
War.
it has to be under a period that already exists.
So-
So that might be at the very end of the Elven Civil War period.
Right.
So it'll be at the bottom. Nice. A
Yeah.
new government is formed.
And that does seem to hint at some kind of peace. What kind of government was it?
Oh, I was gonna say like a communist government.
Yeah? Like, I mean, nobody can disagree with you when you've got the chair. I mean, I, as the GM for the world overall, will point out things that might contradict other bits of history that is already established, just because we do have some relation to the rest of the world. But unless you've got a direct contradiction to something that I've already established, you're free to do anything.
Okay, that's the kind of government that was formed.
Okay, so it's a communist government is formed at the end of the Elven Civil War. So House Tier comes together under a communist-style government.
Right.
And I would probably say communist style instead of communist, just to make sure that, like, political philosophies in this world probably aren't exactly the same as political philosophies in our world.
Right. Okay. I'll add that to that note.
All right. And would this be considered a light or dark event?
I'd say dark.
Oh, really?
Right. Or
So the Civil War ends with the formation of a new style of government, and you're treating this as a dark event.
it's worse than the other
That's
one.
fair enough.
They thought it was bad, but
Imagine
no,
if like the
it got worse.
Confederates won the Civil War, right? That'd be definitely a different world. That'd be a
They
much
thought
darker
they
timeline.
thought that nothing could be worse than Chancellor Kree, but end up being worse.
Yeah, he was Chancellor Kree was really bad, and they're like, oh,
Chancellor Judo.
dead. Or yeah, whatever his name was.
Both of them. Like, there are multiple chancellors in this period by the look of it.
Yeah.
There's
but-
two governing high chancellors.
At minimum.
Yeah.
Yes.
During this period, they might have been going through Grand Chancellors like stock.
Yeah, fair enough.
They change Grand Chancellors more often than some adventurers change underwear. All right, so color code that as a dark style event, and you wish to create a scene under that immediately.
No.
You're good with that?
Yeah, I want to see what's gonna
Okay.
happen.
How did that relate to the lens of a celebration of the serpent?
So, you know that festival that was the celebration of the serpent, and then Dongil, the bodyguard, killed the Chancellor, and then because he was from a different area, he brought in his like people, and then they worked their way up into the government, and they formed the communist government.
Now, I will
There was a coup
give you
during the
little bit
Festival of
from
Serpent.
other history that might spice this up a little bit with a bit of interest. So, in the original timeline, we discovered that of the 4 houses that came across, House Ilo had been exiled into the desert. House Ilo had originally worshipped the snake god Serpentis, and then was left without any
this is
god
spicy.
to their name once they were exiled. The Lord of the Storm Serpent was kind of from what you found in the Astral Observatory, seemed to have been a combination of like gods that some of the Dragonkin had brought with them from their culture, mixed with some of the Serpentis stories that still lingered from House Ilo before they were that they held on to after their exile. So it could be that there is some connection to House Ilo and some kind of infiltration woven through all this since they had been exiled.
Yeah, I love that. Well, make the Dulgil. He's from Elo, then.
Secretly double agent from House Elo.
Yes.
Spicy. And so then, by instituting the celebration of the serpent, that could be House Elo sneaking in their influence through this new government that they have formed. So this could be when that is declared a tier holiday. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So.
No, I'm not supposed to be giving you ideas. You're supposed to be in the driver's seat. But yeah, just because what you've just described does fit in rather interestingly with some of the stuff that came out last time. I just wanted you to be aware of those pieces.
Yeah, cool.
Or not, as you wish.
Yeah, I like that. So this new government's introducing that holiday then. So that means.
And that's how it relates to our lens.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Okay. So I'll just add that to your note. And by national, I mean like house-wide. Oh, this is getting good. Intrigue, suspense, Tyr and Elo just going at it like Mongoose and Viper. And you passed on making an event, so Diana, it is now your turn.
Sorry, guys. I
Oh, you're
have to
moving
get out a
around?
little bit, but go on.
What?
I said sorry. I had to leave a little bit, and I come back. Sorry.
Oh, do you want me to fill? Do you want us to fill you in?
No, don't worry. I can watch it later. Don't worry.
Okay, there was just a bit of spicy stuff with House Elo that you
I
missed.
feel like we should just fill him in. It's spicy as hell, right?
Yeah, do it.
Okay, too lazy, didn't watch for the last 5 minutes. Basically, what happened is during this big festival, the bodyguard of the High Chancellor, visiting High Chancellor, was assassinated. Okay, and there was a coup d'état. All right, wherein a communist government from this exiled house in the desert called House Elo took over the ruling of Varsolaris and turned it into Tyr?
House Tyr, at least.
Okay. They took over House Tyr is what you're saying? What?
Yeah.
Okay. And there was like a big crazy government in there, and yeah, apparently it was a dark overthrow, and that was the spice and intrigue. And they introduced a new festival called the Festival of the Serpent to worship their serpent god.
Oh my gosh, was kind of a coup. Okay.
There was a coup.
We had a coup, and it is Diana's turn to add a period, an event, or a scene relating to a grand celebration of the serpent. Diana may be muted.
No, Diana is silent, trying to go.
Okay.
Oh no, think of something, think of something.
For me, a lot has changed in the last 4 minutes. To be honest, my
No,
idea doesn't work at all.
Info dump, and I feel like I should use that, but I don't know.
You don't have to if you don't want to. All we know for sure is that there's a grand celebration of the serpent.
Gotta be a grand celebration of a serpent.
Which open is this actually?
Celebration of the serpent becomes a national holiday, but it was already a thing at the beginning of the Civil War because that's where the High Chancellor was assassinated. So, we don't know when the celebration was first started, right?
That's right. But it was elevated to a national holiday at with the overthrow of the government and the establishment of the new government.
Okay. So maybe related to the boom period for elfing.
Or a new period entirely.
Yeah. Oh, how long ago did this thing start? Maybe it started when elfing was having a good time, or maybe it started way back as like a ritual to keep the snake away, but now it's just a big party.
What does House Tyr have to do with the underwater city?
It looks like. Well, that's a good question. It looks like the House Tyr was involved with the establishment of the magic school of Nefine, and it was people from the magic school of Nefine who established the city of Elsing.
Do we know
Yeah.
if the two
I was thinking
universities were
that's-
like on good terms, or if they're like rivals?
We don't know.
Okay,
I was thinking
sorry.
that maybe somebody was one of the wizards was from a host tier, because it's a house. It's not necessarily a last name.
Oh, true.
Yeah,
But
Interesting.
yeah, and like the four major houses together, like ruled Varsolaris at least for most of its history, like basically each controlling a quarter of it.
Interesting.
Some quarters being slightly bigger than others.
Okay, so how about this? Since we didn't actually kill the storm snake, and he basically was like, I'll be back. What if he does come back with some regularity, and so people are like prepared to go out and fireball underwater the snake, but eventually the snake stops coming, but everybody likes the fireworks, so then it just eventually becomes a big party that happens yearly, because the snake would come back roughly yearly-ish for a few years.
Seems plausible.
Okay, and they drive it off repeatedly. They don't mollify it or reconcile with it at all. I'm not in the driver's seat. I can't suggest anything.
I think it's gotta be between you and Kaylee.
Nope, it's up entirely Dana. There's no other input when it's your turn, and I've been bad and a bad example.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm sort of tempted to write it in an open-ended manner so that somebody else can decide.
So this could be a scene
whether
then.
it's
So this could be a scene
Very
of.
good.
So the an open question, like phrase it as a question. How did this happen?
Oh,
Say this is
true.
Scene under
Ah.
one of the events relating to the city. Boom.
Okay, how did the return of the storm snake Glengosh bring about the festival of the serpent? Wait, how do you spell that?
That sounds like a perfect question. And something that's on all of our minds right now.
Alright. We're running out of space, but there.
And is that during the boom period under the long heat, or is that made the shrine to Victoria? Oh, this one is an event underneath here. I'm just gonna send it back so that it's underneath that one. And that's just, these are just to keep track of characters that we've used. There you go, make a little bit. Space there.
I feel like this starts happening. Like this has to be like pretty early on in the city's history.
Doesn't have to be.
I suppose not. I don't know. I suppose the rising temperatures could bring our snake friend back to the city because things are getting kind of shit everywhere else.
Could be.
Sure, let's stick it here. Scenes go under events?
Scenes go under events, yes. Yeah, scenes are associated with events.
Sure.
All right.
Well, we'll associate it with that one.
I like it. It's very juicy. So, Diana, you're creating the scene. You've asked the question. You may specify up to 2 characters who must be in the scene and up to 2 characters that must not be in the scene. And you can be as specific or general with those characters as you wish.
I think our snake friend needs to be in the scene because he's returning.
Okay. Glengosh is going to be in there.
But this is sometime after the initial driving out of Glengosh, so I don't think any of the original cast of characters should be in there.
Well, they can't.
Otherwise,
Characters typically will not span multiple time periods.
Bring back Victoria. Was that her name? Bring back Vicky.
I mean, it could be somebody else named Victoria, because, you know, it'd be a really
Oh,
popular
that would be
name.
poetic. That'd be good.
Yeah, so the snake has to be in there, but otherwise, go for it.
All right, Melissa, you have first choice of a character.
Oh my god. That's my fantasy name generator. Okay. I will be a local friendly figure who's secretly a member of the cult of Glenglosh. And his name will be Ryan.
Ryan, did you say?
I'm Ryan.
All right. Secretly a member of the cult of Glengosh.
I like
Felipe.
this cult now.
Gosh, I'm thinking.
Right? And yeah, just by doing that, now there is a cult.
Okay, how did the return of the storm snake Glengosh bring about the festival of the serpent? Okay, so I will be. Let's grab a name. Kaya tier. So let me create one thing here. And she will be a
Baker.
bard.
Call him.
She will be a bard that is always looking for things to write and songs to make celebrations.
Okay. Liam.
Okay, I need a second. But straight away, I feel like I'm gonna not go for Glengosh if you want to do that, Kaylee. I'm happy to give that to you. You wanted the storm.
Am I in the scene?
You are not in this scene.
What?
It's Diana, Melissa, Felipe, and Liam.
Oh, Diana. Okay, can I forego and just pass and give it to Kaylee as the storm snake?
No, there's like no characters belong to any one person.
Okay.
These are accounts from different points of view in history that you
Oh,
are.
Felipe already took it.
I think he's
Did he?
updating.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Felipe took a bard. There we go.
Oh, okay. Okay. So this is the question here is, if I'm not mistaken, how did we stop getting attacked by a snake all the time, right?
Nope. How did the return of the storm snake, Glengosh, bring about the festival of the serpent?
Oh,
Like,
how
it
did the return?
implies that it stops any attacks from the serpent, but that's not explicitly stated.
Okay.
We just know how it ends. We just don't know why it ends that way.
Okay. I'm gonna be Victor, stay-at-home dad. Audience. That's me. Just get caught up in the gears of history.
Victor and Brian, they usually go barbecue together.
Yeah. That's canon. That's true. I don't know about the cultness, but I definitely you grill a good burger.
Exactly.
You live underwater.
You cast fireball. It's canon. It's fine.
Maybe
They
we
have
have
sun.
a bubble underwater. Maybe it's a bubble city.
Bubble City, yeah, it's kind
That
of.
hasn't been specified.
We have no idea.
All right. Brian, what are your... sorry. Diana, describe the opening scene.
Okay. This has gone in already no direction that I predicted, so...
Well, you didn't account for the Victor, the stay-at-home dad? How could you do this?
Did not anticipate. Did not anticipate a townsfolk NPC. Well,
I'd say don't let that change your plans.
You're out and about in the town, and Glengosh appears overhead and starts threatening the city.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my
Victor glances down at his
Oh, we're
bag.
going to go around with thoughts first.
Oh,
Opening thoughts.
sorry. I'm sorry. I thought it was a
I'm
good
going to
thing.
ask Diana, with the approaching storms, what does that look like to the people on the ground or in the city?
So the snake we established was like the size of a city?
At the time of the Age of Elven Prosperity, yes.
Yes, but we're in another period of history, so that's gotta be like at least 100 years.
It doesn't have to, like,
So-
yeah, there's no time lengths on these things. They're just periods of history.
Well, this thing comes overhead and it blots out the sun.
Okay. And for being a storm snake, is there any other fury or lightning that comes with it, or like
The
does
water
it look
gets
up to
really cold. Just
Where
all
are
of a
we, by the
sudden,
way?
the
Are we
water's
at
really
the-
cold.
Ooh, nice. All right, thoughts, Brian.
Brian was initially disappointed because the sun is gone and he's planning for a barbecue with Victor. Then he realized it's actually Glenn Glosh. His god, his love, his like his whole life as a cult member. He's like definitely happy and he's trying to find a way for Glenn Gloss to kind of like get the favor of the people. His thought.
Kea, what are your thoughts?
Kea is she's sitting on the I don't know, a kind of a park or something in the middle of the city with her flute and with a scroll of a magical scroll that she has no idea what is the magic that is on that, but she's trying to pick words from that thing and put inside of her song while she's writing the song and playing the flute to try to get some particular notes that would fit with that. So she's thinking in how to make that song sounds cool with that scroll words.
Cool.
Victor, what are your initial thoughts?
I mean, I have this huge bag full of fish because I'm a pescatarian. Not a
Oh, you're a
pescatonian.
pescatarian?
No,
Okay.
I'm a pescatarian. I don't eat meat. I eat fish. I'm a Yeah, no, I'm a pescatarian. So Victor has a big bag full of fish, and it's kind of crazy. He thinks maybe the universe is mad at him for buying so many fish at one time, but he likes to buy in bulk. So he's just looking up there. He's sizing up what are his odds that I get out of this live. What are the odds that I get divinely punished for just buying this huge amount of raw fish? That's his initial thoughts.
Not sure whether it's purely thoughts or spoken out loud, but puny mortals, I will enjoy tearing your city apart.
All right.
I mean,
The player making the scene can choose to say who is present when the scene starts, and players can have other characters enter the scene whenever they want. Take it away, Diana.
I'm envisioning you're all in like a town square, looking up, going, "Aw, shit."
we're all the same place?
You don't have to be.
That's fine.
Yeah. Somewhere outdoors that you can see that things are about to go badly. Probably.
Victor looks at at Brian and says, "I mean, we've bought more fish than this before, right? This isn't the most we've ever bought, is it?"
And then I think Brian will smack like the bag of fish out of like Victor's hands. And like he's going to shake Victor like, "In focus, Victor, look at my eyes. Like this is the day that we've been waiting for." Oh god.
We?
We, all of us.
Who's us?
Elfkind.
You guys
God,
knew
I've
about
been
this?
back.
Did I miss on something? I think we should run.
Oh, this is the promised day.
Oh my
God
goodness.
is
You
here.
just stand here? What's the plan?
To continue shaking.
Kea, Kea see those two shaking itself like, what? Who turns off the light? What is going on? And she looks up and, holy shit.
I imagine just people are streaming past you, just people are flooding away from the square, running for their lives.
Yeah.
Glengosh, Glengosh.
By the way,
circles
what does the city look like? It's an underwater city, but are you like in air right now playing flutes? Like, is it under a bubble, or like anybody, like whoever describes what the city's like makes that canon?
I think it. Go ahead if you got an idea.
Okay. Since there's so much about Stargate in this, I imagine the city being like Atlantis with a shield around it. So it has air inside and it's sink in the bottom. It's kind of a shield around It's not actually a shield, but it's something that prevents the water to actually flood the city.
This is like the spell Leomud's Tiny Hut, but on overdrive.
I want to add to that and say that the huge conglomeration of wizards who founded this place discovered a spell that was basically the tiny hut but huge, and so they cast that, and it was like it depends on the amount of brain power in the city that keeps the hut big. So you gotta have the scholarliness is like central to the city's identity. No? You guys decide. I don't care.
You made it canon.
Mass exodus.
It's canon.
That's how magic works now.
You
Scholars
spoke
move
it
away,
and it
city
happens.
shrinks.
Yeah.
Now, that could also mean like the number of like wizards who are repeatedly reinforcing the spell or something. The exact details wouldn't be something that the average house dad would necessarily know.
Fair enough.
So the city has like the shield has grown over the years. Then
Mhm.
is an established fact, and the founders made it, and it's something like an extremely large tiny hut.
The city grows as the quality of wizards inside of the dome increases, so it expands like that. That's canon. Outside of it.
So the game mechanic is when you want to expand the city, you have to build another university.
Yeah, or you gotta have gotta
Yeah.
have people to re-up the spell.
That makes sense. Magic spell.
So Glengosh is circling this city in the bubble, and stormy lightning comes from somewhere and just like skitters around the outside of the bubble, and it's like a reverse one of those plasma lights with all the little
Ooh.
bits going out, but it's like around the outside.
That's cool.
The lightning does not penetrate the shield.
That's very cool.
So, what happens to Glengosh, sorry? Does Glengosh go inside the shield?
I think
Let's-
it's like
He hasn't yet,
Ooh.
or hasn't tried to yet, or is working out how to do that.
So there's 3 people
If
currently
we're
left in
working
the
on Layman's
shield.
Tiny Hut rules, like I believe it's no magic can get through there, so
Oh shit!
That is
True.
correct.
but Storm Serpent. So
So it looks like one of those cool, like static electricity balls.
how do you destroy a tiny hut?
I don't know. I don't know if you can.
Is it even possible?
Okay. Where do we go from here?
Yeah, I'm
I
trying
think
to
it's
figure out
something.
like how do we answer that question?
Well, you've got the cultist. What's your move?
Oh my god. It's your time.
Start killing.
It's your time to shine, Brian.
Like, are you gonna go?
Stop throwing a party.
Are you gonna go, like open the door, the metaphorical magical door for your god, perhaps, or just like rush out through the barrier and swim out to him?
And that's why I'm trying to figure out like what's the mechanic of like this
I think
tiny
Victor's
hut.
gonna turn. Victor's gonna
Well,
turn to
The
Brian.
exact magic of the dome will be slightly different. So, what the canonical powers that it has, because to have like a actual magical barrier, like completely anti-magical barrier that big, would be really tough to do. So it probably does have. It's probably not as much of a barrier as the tiny hut, maybe, or maybe it is. We don't know yet.
Okay. So Victor's gonna turn to Brian and say, "Listen, Brian, I don't know how much time we have left on this earth, but I think that whatever time we have left, we gotta do it doing what we love. Barbecuing, having people over, celebrating. Are you thinking what I'm thinking? I pick up the 2 big overflowing bags of fish and your 2 big bags of burgers. I say, I think it's time to grill.
I think Brian would just like go to Victor and said like, yes, Victor, we will have a barbecue and we will dedicate this barbecue to our god.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, whatever. That's fine.
And then he's going to take like 2 baguettes and then start cutting it and putting butter on it.
Yeah, and on the way to the barbecue, we stop by to this person who's got a musical instrument in their hand, and I think
I've got a question myself. Like, as the shield is like getting bombarded with all of this stuff, does it stay the same size, or does it start contracting or expanding or anything like that? Does it react to the assault at all?
It should be contracting. It should be smaller.
It's,
So if you're in
Yeah.
like a central square and the dome is slowly getting smaller, and the outskirts of the city begin just flooding because they're no longer under its protection.
I think it's a little. I think it would be more like, or that's a fine. I was also thinking maybe like a kind of how a bubble reacts to like if you try to like poke it or whatever. So like, as the serpent sort of comes in, the dome sort of just morphs and sort of gives way underneath it, and sort of
Ooh, I
like
like
generally
that, where it,
stays
like,
together,
sort
but
of,
sort of
like, buckles and like
yeah,
becomes
so-
not
yeah, it becomes
spherical.
less stable and just sort of like more whooshy, because it's
Oh,
just
yeah.
really
It's
there
like
to keep air
floating.
in.
And then of course
Nice.
there's wizards coming out of somewhere to fight the serpent because the townsfolk are not gonna do that.
Yeah.
So in addition to the lightning and the bubble making weird shapes and probably making really weird sounds, like horrible bassy sounds that make you go, yep, I'm gonna die. There's like lightning and fire and there's like all this crazy stuff going on outside the bubble.
Guys, I think the funniest thing for me about this is the fact that we're answering the question about how the festival started, not how the serpent was repelled. So we really can't even
Well-
say what the guys in the wizard tower are doing. This is about how your boys Victor and Brian, with their new musician contracted, Kea on the way out of the square, organized a legendary party of a huge barbecue that ended up becoming a staple of the city.
No, wait. Kea,
It's like the Winnipeg whiteout party, except
Exactly.
Storm Serpent style.
With barbecues.
Yeah, exactly. What were you gonna say,
Like
Felipe?
this, like the answer to the question needs to become apparent through this. Like, you don't actually have to host the first party, but like you don't have to like celebrate the first party yourselves. But we do need to make the connection clear. What is the connection between the return of the serpent and the establishment of this festival? And the festival itself could be held days or even like years after the events that you play out in commemoration of what happened. And we don't even know what the festival entails. So
I think it's just a big
you're
ass.
angling for
I think it's a
like,
huge barbecue. That's what I was thinking, like a huge Winnipeg whiteout. So
Absolutely.
people just,
But-
you know, they're about it.
so Kea start to play her flute and sing along when possible, using the words from that spell scroll that she has no idea what it is. And that causes to summon another serpent
Oh,
that is
my
friendly
God.
to her, that is start to fight the serpent that is outside and
How about
end
this?
up winning.
That's great.
Yes.
How about That's fantastic. Okay, I think that's great. And so this huge party starts around this excellent musician flautist who summons
Also,
a serpent.
I don't know. I will interrupt just to make sure that we're not contradicting something that happens later. Because they did get Glengosh to protect their city in
Oh,
like
shit.
during the time of the Civil War. So we know
Oh,
Glengosh
shit.
is not completely defeated, and that
He's just
Uh,
repelled again.
he is
He
And-
just
and
like
singing-
fell.
Repel.
he
singing
is
the
somehow
serpent summoning
sympathetic
songs.
enough or coerced into protecting the city at a
Oh,
later
I know,
date.
I know. The serpent that was summoned then, instead of defeating it, it kind of, we heard a sound like a charging, and then we see a lightning, and both serpents disappear. And we believe that they were like that the other one defeated that one, but they actually teleported as the serpent usually do, the serpent of the storm.
Ah,
Oh, interesting.
Interesting.
And they just
So the
teleport
whole festival
somewhere.
is actually predicated on a bit of a misconception.
Yes.
I kind of love that, actually. Okay, can that be
That's-
canon? That like a
Comes
huge
This one would be
barbecue
a very
and a
big question.
singer?
I love it. Like,
Can
how
it, is
do
it
we get
canon
from
that a
there to-
singer and a huge barbecue of people drove off a serpent, and then they thought they won, but they really didn't, so they just started prematurely just kept partying? I kind of love it.
Yes.
So now we have an annual festival of music and barbecued fish that celebrates that is the festival of the serpent, and that came from Ething, and it spread throughout the rest of at least the tier holdings, if not farther across Varsolaris.
I mean,
I think
it's
we've
sick.
answered the question.
Nope. It's a really cool holiday, to be honest. Who wouldn't want to celebrate it?
Tone. Light or dark?
It's
Light.
I think that's kind of light.
I would agree myself. Everybody agreed with light?
Oh
Dissenters?
yeah, for sure.
All right. Now we'll put Glenn Gosh back over there. All right. That was Diana's turn. Melissa.
I have to say, we are all crazy storytellers.
I think this is probably the most fun I've had doing like improv in my entire life. This is fantastic.
I do enjoy this. Like the first time we did it, I thought it was quite fun, and so I've been wanting to do it again as a crazy world building exercise. And with your events recently, I thought it was an appropriate time to bring that out.
It's fantastic. I'm glad I'm here for it.
It is like nice. I think
Alright.
I will add an event. We'll say that the cult of Englosh by Brian. I think like they establish themselves inside the city. Like they have the organization, the office, and everything like that.
So the cult of the serpent establishes itself in Ething
And
or Elfing. All right, where does that happen?
I'll say it's probably after that, like that event or celebration.
Okay, so that's our event right there. Would that be a? So by established, you mean it like becomes public?
It becomes a public.
Okay, yeah, because it was already a thing before that recent event or that recent scene.
It was already a thing, but like it used to be underground, but now they're actually like going public because they saw the appearance of like landlords like that. Their god is not there.
I like that wording better, if you don't mind. Maybe goes public instead of established.
Fucking, it has like stars and everything.
Yeah, they've got a Patreon account and everything. Light or dark?
That's a good question. I feel like you could go either way. I'm sure
Because I myself expect that the cult of the serpent is probably associated with House Elo, who was the house that was exiled. Which again, does that say light? Not necessarily.
Maybe later on they got like funded by House of Elo. I feel like this is probably dark.
You're gonna make that a dark event? Okay.
Be light.
This is up to you. What do you
do
think the tone is?
Just do it light. Like,
Okay.
and people just see them as like, crazy people. Probably not harmless. gambling stuff.
And it becomes part of the Ething cultural identity by the sound of it.
Probably, yeah.
Felipe.
Okay, one question. Did we define when was the school of Nafin was destroyed?
We know when the ruins were found. So it had to be
Okay.
destroyed before we could find its ruins.
Yeah, so exactly what I was about. So
We do not know when it was destroyed, no.
So it was destroyed. So I will create an event. It was destroyed during the grand celebration of the serpent, during the Elven Civil War. So let me add.
Right. I think the city still existed while the spell of reincarnation was discovered, because it was, I believe the spell was discovered by wizards
In the
at the
city.
magical school of Nefine.
Yeah.
So it would have to be after this event that it's destroyed.
Okay, I will create right after the new government is formed.
All right, and that would be a new event.
Yeah, just a
Elven
second.
Civil War is a busy time. That all relates to that. New government is formed. Oh, so right after that or right before
So
that?
the destruction of Nafini school took place on the grand celebration day, on the day of the celebration of the serpent, right after the new government was formed. So the first celebration after the new government was formed. So the new government, for some reason, decided to destroy Nafin school on the day of the celebration of the serpent.
Done.
Yeah, they could like. Oh man. Oh, that's so cool.
Ooh, was it like some kind of political power move to destroy the school?
Yes,
I mean,
exactly.
yeah, the think tank's always dangerous to new regimes, right? You never know.
All right,
Gotta keep the
Liam,
young
you're up
minds up.
next.
Oh, am I up? Okay.
You can make a period. You can you can add a new period in between any of the ones that we already have, event under any one of the periods that we do have, or a scene inside any event.
I just don't know how like adding a new period can fit inside of the lens that we're currently using. How does that work?
Well, the length is some unknown stretch of history from the elves arriving to the Great Collapse. Somewhere in here, if you want some inspiration from what had happened in the previous timeline that may or may not have any bearing on the trials and tribulations of House Tyr, include. So we had an Elven Age of Prosperity. There was an Elven Dark Age in the sort of global Varsolaris time. So the Long Heat might nest under that, or it might not. It might be completely separate. So that was a period of high mortality rates. Sometime after that Dark Age, dragons arrived in the world. Camdur arrived in Varsolaris. Arrived near Nye territory and later took over House Dor's capital city, which was also the capital city of sort of like the entire continent. There was a mysterious plague that afflicted the elves, especially those that lived in forests. So far, our focus has mostly been underwater, so that hasn't mattered so much. But you did meet the dryads in a forest, so that might be relevant. There was an age of expansion where the continent became more diverse, both racially and culturally, which included the founding of Mythonar and the diversification of transportation, the creation of the Thunderdome, which was an ELO event, so probably doesn't relate here, unless somebody from House Tyr is directly associated with that somehow. Then there was the last Golden Age, which came right before the Great Mana Depletion and the Great Collapse. And that's what we know from our global, like, wider Varsolaran history.
Okay.
But House Tyr may have been affected by all of those things much differently. House Tyr did not feature really at all in the original history building, which is why they're a great candidate here.
I sent you a quick message, if you don't
Oh,
mind.
did you?
That might inform my decision on what my thing is here.
What was inscribed on that thing we found in the swamp? That had already been translated as property of Bellinor. And Melissa, possibly Ezra, or maybe speaking for one of the other characters, identified that Bellinor Nai was a name that had been found in the vaults that had been discovered.
It wasn't Ra, definitely. Just another character. I don't know.
Okay. Fair enough. I think that I'm just going to choose to I'm gonna go for a bit of a cryptic one. Grand Celebration of the Serpent. It's so hard to think of something that's okay. I'm just gonna try this.
So I'll slack you the link to that other timeline, just in case there's anything there that helps as inspiration.
Okay, I got one. That's gonna be adoption of the Festival of the Serpent. Serpent. So the idea basically is that after the I mean, actually probably before, what was the name of the rival house?
Elo is the one that had been banished, and it seems that they are very active in Tyr history.
How do you spell Elo? E-L-O-H?
I-L-O.
I-L-O-H?
Just I-L-O.
I-L-O. So I'll basically say that House Elo started to heavily influence the festival, and basically start using it to push their sort of thoughts, their school of thoughts, and sort of make people more sympathetic to House Elo. And so that sort of happened as a precursor to the new government that came into power.
Okay.
It's kind of a muddy timeline.
Sounds like a Civil War. All right. And Kaylee.
I've been thinking about this.
Oh, yeah, all of these do seem to relate quite closely, so I'm going to tuck them a little bit closer. We can pull them out if you need to see more.
Where is... Oh, this is when Glenglass joins the city. Okay. Where was it that we started this festival?
The festival starts over here.
Oh, there we go. Okay, so then I would like to add an event that I'm gonna make yellow. And I'm gonna say the serpents. I'm thinking the wording of this through.
And what you say is more important than what gets put on the card.
So here's my idea. So I was thinking that we can kind of co-opt the festival as a way to get the help of the serpent during the war. So I'm thinking something like the serpent returns either during or around the festival, and the town is holding this festival during a difficult time and decide to offer
Would
the
that
serpents
be under the event here?
maybe. I was gonna say that they offer the serpents some of the grilled fish in return, and promise to offer them grilled fish every year to help protect the city. That's my idea. I don't know how to phrase that. Because I was thinking that this festival should be tied into how the heck do we get this serpent who hates us to fight for us.
That's fair enough.
I feel like that might be a dramatic question underneath that event myself.
Okay.
Dictate, like, and you can do it. You can choose to do a dictated scene where you can just tell us what happened. If you know, like, if it's something that you do know exactly what happens, or if you've got it as a question, like, we can use. Crystal said she has to run for something, so it'd be you, Diana, Melissa, and Felipe could act that one.
Okay. And then I think this will be my last scene as well.
Yeah. I think that we are getting, like, this will we'll probably wrap it this round. Unless there were still a few that wanted to go one more, because
I have one that's burning. I'm burning on one.
You are burning on one?
I'm burning on one. Yeah.
Okay. So let's go with how
I went to have one as well, but I already have everything in my mind.
Me too.
And if people are really enjoying this, we could extend this another week to get some more of those burning ideas out. And just sit. I think, can we save a Jamboard?
It's like a Google Doc, so it's just going to sit there in your drive.
Does it have a name? Yeah, you can download it as a PDF as well.
But with a PDF, you cannot grab what is behind one thing behind the other.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going with how does the city negotiate protection from Glengosh during the festival? So
All right.
Here.
Characters that must and must not be in the scene.
Glengosh must be here.
Okay. Any other characters? Like
No.
head of the serpent cult, or
Oh, yeah.
that you might want or want to
Ooh.
disallow.
That's a good thought, actually. I think the head of the serpent. Okay, so I can pick up to 2, right?
You can pick up to 2. 2 each for must and must not.
Okay, so I would like to. Okay, so I say that Glengosh has to be there, as does the head of, or the person who is in charge of organizing the festivities. Whether or not they are of the serpent cult is up to you.
Okay. And Diana, you get the first choice of character.
I'm open to suggestions.
Can all be the cultish.
Yeah, you could all take a different cultist.
Exactly.
Sure. I can be a cultist. I can be a name that is here.
Okay,
Yellerin,
a
the
cultist.
cultist.
Melissa.
A cultist.
Well, you can give yourself a name on your sticky tag.
Yes.
Melissa, a character.
I will also be cultish.
Okay, just a rank and file cultist.
The what, sorry?
Just a rank and file cultist, like somebody who's initiated into the mysteries of the serpent cult.
I think this cultist is actually a politician. So like the cultish group, they managed to get into like the government and politics. This is a politician cultish. The name. Him.
All right, I'll let you pick
Wait.
one through the day.
Okay,
So I guess
so
Felipe has
I will
to
be. Oh, I have to be someone.
You
Yeah,
have
I
to
think
pick either
you have to
the
be either.
organizer of the festival or the serpent itself.
I have to be the serpent, or what is the other one that I got?
The organizer of the festival.
Okay, so I will be the organizer, and her name will be Amara.
Alright.
She's an elf, and she's a cleric of the serpent.
I see. So, Kaylee, that gives you the storm serpent again. All right, set the scene for us. Is he coming in hot and angry, or is he coming in somewhat mollified already? What do we got?
Okay, I've got. I would like to say maybe that trying to think of this. I would say that he is arriving near the city, just near enough to like see the festivities, and the cultists who are attuned to his magic have sensed him.
Ah, okay.
So he's not there yet.
All right. Opening thoughts. Nairin. What is it? Nellerin? Nellerin. Opening thoughts.
Upon sensing the magic of the serpent, I'm freaking out a little bit because I didn't think that was actually going to happen. Because what? The serpent is actually real? I thought it was just a metaphor for something.
Using for the perks.
Jeffrey.
I think Jeffrey as a politician and cultist, and this is like in the middle of the civil war, right? He knows that the city is in the middle of like very intricate situation with the other elven cities on the ground. So he's planning to use this in order to bring Glenglosh back into like power.
Okay. Amara.
Amara is
How do
thinking.
you-
Amara is thinking in everything that needs to be organized for this event and everything, like who will be singing, who will be doing that and organizing there, and say blast the serpent to everyone. So she's overwhelmed by the amount of things that she needs to do for this event to go well. So this is how she feels, but she is also feeling a little bit of the serpent when it comes and and realize that that's the moment.
Glengosh, your thoughts?
My thoughts are that I no longer the petty mortals have ruined my favorite nap spot, and I don't really want it back at this point, but their presence still bothers me because it is in direct defiance of me.
All right. As like 2 ages later, or 2
Yeah.
eras later.
Yeah, no longer needs the nap spot.
Yeah, at least 2 major time periods later. There could have been more in there that just weren't worth writing or reading about. Okay, open the scene for us.
Glengosh, is amongst the coral surrounding the city and is just watching and waiting and trying to figure out how to take revenge upon the humans. Or, sorry, not the humans, the elves. And what he should do to bring them back to being in awe of him.
Are you looking for ways to bring down the barrier, or bypass it?
I would say that he's kind of probably watching to see like what the elves have built and see if anyone is going to notice and approach him. Sort of gathering intelligence.
So you're not coming in as hot as you did last time that you approached.
No. Because last time I came in hot and they fired right back. So I'm going to use my ancient intelligence. And I would assume that probably the cultists come find me.
Probably.
Well, let's put it to the cultists.
Have at her, cultists.
It's in the middle of the festival, right?
Mm-hmm. So there's grilled fish everywhere.
Grilled fish everywhere. I think the politicians are having their own group parties because they're fancy and shits. They doesn't want to do like it's with the plebeians, with the normal people. Then Jeffrey, he saw the Glangloss coming, and then he's going to start like having this about like we're in the situation with the other elf cities, so we have to find a way to protect our city when they're coming. So this is like the good time to make a negotiation with Glangloss. That's what he's doing.
Am I fancy enough to be at this party, or am I somewhere else in the city?
That's
As a
entirely up to you.
regular cultist. Perhaps I'm a server at this party.
We have like a ton of networks around the city.
Unless I'm like a professional cultist, is that a thing that people can do? I didn't give myself an occupation.
Maybe it's like being in a gang. It's kind of your thing.
I don't know anything about being in a gang.
I mean, I don't either.
I know what I've seen on TV.
Yeah, exactly.
I'd say that like all of the cultists out here.
Yeah, I would think that like this cult of the serpent is like one of the like ancient Greek mysteries, is how it is in my head, where there's like, you know, small rituals and shrines and things that people get initiated into, and you know, they probably like the average person probably belongs to like a small handful of these different cults or mysteries of different demigods around the place, and gods and demigods and stuff, because like the Because we also know that like the storm serpent, like there's like a storm serpent deity that this lesser storm serpent is probably like reporting to somehow, or like would be associated with, perhaps as an aspect of, or
I think like the cult is quite public also. I mean, like people are just thinking like, oh, this is just like a bunch of people that's like worshipping this small storm serpent god, probably harmless. But like people know that like this cult has connection with like Glengosh, so they can like communicate with like the god.
okay.
So is this where we start running through the streets like the time is now, the reckoning has come?
Go for it. Make it dramatic.
Amara,
We have a dramatic question answer.
Amara hears that and say, yes, the time has come. Now is the time. Let's pray for the serpent to bless our city, to protect us. The serpent is the only strong God that protect us, and we always want helping us in this underwater city, the place where the serpent always live and take rest. Protect us, and let's everyone pray. And Amara asks for everyone around to pray for the serpent god to protect the city and bring his blessing, his bless around them.
I feel like
Glengosh.
in
how
the
do you-
mythical way that sort of demigod / aspect of a god / whatever this thing is,
Yeah.
probably I can hear pretty well underwater, hears this prayer and is like, what I've never protected this city. But I mean, this is kind of what I was looking for. Okay, and so I appear, and I am now big enough to fully coil around the city's bubble and have my head up over the city and be like, mortals, I hear your prayers, but they are not enough. You must make an offering or face my wrath.
Here it goes, all the fish that we grill as an offering.
Take our grilled fish.
Take our
Take our
good
offerings of salmon and tuna.
And
So you
every
just bring
single
a
year,
politician as a chaser.
and
Bring
every
your
single
offering
year,
to me.
Oh my
and
goodness.
every single year during the celebration of the serpent, we will offer our first and all our grilling fish to you, if you so wish.
And in exchange, you ask for my protection.
Yes,
Yes.
mighty serpent.
I'm loving this voice, Felipe.
What?
Bring me your finest fish, and we will see if they are worthy.
All right. Have we answered the question?
Yes.
Yeah, I
good
guess.
Fish.
Eats the fish.
Question
Delicious.
answered.
Fish, the old Brian and Victor recipe passed down through generations.
Yeah.
Wonderwall.
They bring hordes of
city.
grilled fish.
All right.
So,
Schools of
destruction
fish.
I thought it was destruction of the underwater city, but no, it's destruction of Naffine's school. Oh.
The underwater city hasn't been destroyed yet.
Right. I read that wrong.
I'll be
And
honest, I was
there's no-
thinking that I was gonna make Glengosh destroy it,
And
but
there is no precedent that
Wait.
say that needs to be destroyed. Just to be clear.
Yeah.
Well, I know that civilization collapses at the end.
Mhm.
Yeah, well, the civilization
the
collapse
open
doesn't
space.
mean that the city needs to be destroyed. The city could just be sieged and everyone would die of, like, starvation.
Yeah.
Mhm.
except for the Piscatonians that had lived there. We know that there were there was at least one Piscatonian involved in the in the founding of the city.
Sweet. Yeah, I guess that.
I will say that was Kaylee. Has wrapped up the round. Felipe, I will let you have the legacy since Crystal has disappeared and Liam and Kaylee have already done a legacy.
I haven't done a legacy.
Yeah, no.
Kaylee, you picked the assess. No.
No.
It went right to Crystal.
We did Crystal and
It's
No, Kaylee did not do the legacy because she was one doing the lens.
right. So we didn't do lens and.
But I think Kaylee can do the legacy now.
Legacy. All right. Pick something to add to the legacy, and then for one of the legacies, add an event or a dictated scene.
Okay. There was some
Focus is now
discussion about the city, the bubble around the city being based on the number of wizards inside of it.
That's pretty
Okay.
cool, right?
Can I take that as a legacy?
Yes,
Sure.
please. I have a whole one for that. And I'm sure a bunch of other people do too.
And then you can add an event or a dictated scene relating to any of the legacies currently in play.
Including the one that I just made?
Correct.
Okay.
It does not have to be the one you just made.
Okay. Well, I want it to be the one that I just made because I want to kill this city.
Oh, no.
So in the Great Collapse,
Oh.
as everyone is, I think it's just going to be an event. As everyone is perishing and wizards are fleeing the continent or dying, the bubble around the city dwindles to nothing.
Fair enough.
Oh,
That's how I thought
no.
it'd go too.
Done.
Like just
Okay.
the wizards just leave. Fair
Yeah.
enough.
As the wizards leave or perish.
Yeah. Or there's the one old guy left at the top of the tower, crazy UF, and he's got this little tiny bubble around his little office, and that's all.
No. He dies and then he reincarnates in another place of the
What's the name of the
universe.
city that I named?
The fish?
Ethan, there we go.
Man, crazy
All right.
UF.
So you've got that legacy under control. All right. Does anybody want to go one more round? I know it's getting very late for a lot of people.
I
I-
don't think I
Yeah,
can go
probably.
another round.
I would like just to add
Okay.
one event if possible.
All right. Let's maybe quickly go through and just know acted scenes.
Oh, it's not a scene, it's just an event.
Okay, let's see.
Yeah. So, do we want Diana to pick a lens for it, or just like everybody gets one freebie event to add, or a freebie thing to add?
Oh, I got it.
Just everybody gets one. Is that the verdict?
Yeah, I think that would be
Sounds
cool.
good.
But
All right, then as our wrap up, we'll give everybody, starting with Diana, one period event or dictated scene to add. No acted scenes for this wrap up.
okay. So my idea for an event was around the reincarnation spell. And I'm pretty sure this isn't how reincarnation actually works in D&D, but what if you were like a really like mafia leader or something, like a high organized crime leader of a like organized crime, and if you like purposely did reincarnation with two different bits of yourself so that you could create copies of yourself, something along the lines of altered carbon, where you can make more of yourselves, and it's extremely risky and doesn't always work. In fact, it usually doesn't work, and so most people don't even try it because it's so incredibly dangerous, but sometimes it works. And so you get these crime bosses that have multiple copies of themselves, and this is part of
This
why the
sounds
reincarnation
like
spell-
serious wizards meddling in druid magics, like forces of nature that they don't fully understand and
I kinda love that.
appreciate, and like making some kind of wretched abomination against nature spell, which would be entirely available to the highest bidder.
So there's my event that I will summarize onto a sticky note.
Okay.
This being a bad event because, oh my gosh, abominations.
This would happen during that Elven Civil War period,
Yes. In
when
between
you can
the
get away
spell
with all
being
kinds of
invented and
nasty
banned.
stuff.
Or maybe even after the spell's banned, honestly, because you know what? Crime.
That's right. That's why you've got crime bosses doing this. I like it. Melissa.
Like I want to bring back like the hunter god because it's just the god of house there.
The archer is the,
The
god
archer
of house
god,
here.
yeah. the archer
Yes,
god.
blue. Has not featured at all in here yet.
Yeah, exactly. It's like we'll be talking about like that. Some god.
I made a god.
So like that, like you'd even make a new period, like the, you know, the restoration, like the reinstatement of blue as, or something.
Can I make a period? Something like that, like an age?
You could make a period.
I want to
yeah.
make one. I got one. It's gonna be okay. It's all right if you guys don't go with this. I'll hide my ideas in case you guys haven't seen them already, and then when it gets my turn, I'm gonna unveil them in dramatic flourish. Because I think that this is kind of a neat way to go.
Maybe. I will put it as an event actually, because like that's going to be an age. So like at the end of the Elven Civil War, like the archer god, is it like a he or she?
Blue is typically depicted as a red-haired woman.
Okay, so Blue, the archer god, does feel herself, and she saw what has become of Hauster, and then she's mad.
Who is?
Blue, the patron deity of House Tier.
Mm.
She punished the whole house there, and then that will become like the next era that's coming.
Actually, yeah, like that could be a period, like punishment, like Blue's punishment, or the curse of Blue, or something like that.
Should be done then.
I
Okay,
have
this sounds like a dark event. Felipe.
All right, here's my event. House Tyr and Ilu unite to fight Kemdir and his horde that are slaughtering them, but Kemdir win using the Staff of the Serpent that have a black obsidian and was previously recovered from the ruins of Nafin School.
Aha!
Ooh.
And that is a staff that our players in the present had recovered for.
Interesting.
Oh man!
All the stuff has come back into itself.
I have a way to actually kind of spice up the second half of this like really messy mid bit, and that is a general magical prohibition using a special null magic type of mist. Okay, they blame their punishment by the god on magic instead of their ill-begotten fortunes, and so they misblame the issue on the academics, the wizards, and magic in general. So I think that ties in well with the destruction of Nafin School. What do you guys think about that?
How would they still have an underwater?
Pardon me?
How would they still have an underwater city maintained by magic and
It's
wizards?
gone already.
I think that's a good question, and I think that this era could kind of come between like a splitting of Tyr from the underwater city. As the underwater as everything starts to split apart, maybe the underwater city stays sort of like this magic haven, and then later on, you know, they sort of split ways. I don't know. If you guys don't like it as well, or don't think it ties
It doesn't
in,
directly
that's
contradict
fine.
anything that we've said, so it can go in.
Okay.
The null magic mist,
Do you want to say what that is?
or the anti-magic mist.
What's it called?
Yeah, it doesn't have an official name that the players have come up with, and they hadn't discovered anything in history as a name for it. You are now reading the books where you might be discovering what the name was, and discovering that this was something introduced on purpose
I think we
by.
should give it a cool name then, wasn't it? Shouldn't we? What's a cool like infamous name for this null magic mist?
From the previous history, there were, I think, some connections of it, with like some loose connections implicating House Nye as well, which doesn't exclude Tyr from making prolific use of it by any means.
Hmm.
You do not directly contradict anything. You definitely entangle with some other groups with this move, but nothing contradictory.
I think like a. I also thought that this would tie in really interestingly with the whole crime bosses thing, because when in history has prohibition ever worked, right? So I think this would spawn a bunch of really crazy magical underground sort of like movements and groups. Shadowy, shady, morally ambiguous magical gangs. What do you guys think of that? Kinda
All right.
cool.
So, like,
Really
the use
like
to
that.
magic is like having an unregistered handgun in your pocket.
Yes. Yes. And also running moonshine. That's kind of like what it's like.
Moonshine magic.
People
I want a
love
book
magic. They're not going to
series or,
give it
like-
up, but the government hates it.
I want a book or a TV series set in that world.
Yeah, the underwater.
Where
Yeah, it's kind of
magic is
cool.
crime.
Magic is crime.
And all because a bunch of like infiltrating serpent cultists like mucked things up for everybody.
It's the butterfly effect.
So yeah, those other events probably still fall under the Elven Civil War, but magic prohibition as an era between the Civil War and the Great Collapse certainly makes sense.
Like, and the thing it can do, the implications to magic are also kind of nuts because, like, imagine these sort of dark magic circles happen when magic's legal. They have like the practitioners of the dark arts, you know, and then when prohibition starts, who are the people who know the ropes? It's those people. So maybe like magic as a practice sort of takes a much darker turn into like more shadowy stuff. Kind of neat.
Yep. And here I thought House Tyr was, kind of like beacon of light. At least that's how they were.
They can be both.
That's how they were portrayed.
Yeah, they can be both.
They also can have
House-
great marketing too.
Yep. Through much of their history, like House Tyr did have pretty solid, Golden Boy standards, and they kind of avoided all of the history. Like their history did not escape Varsolaris with the mass exodus the same way that other events did.
They might have precipitated it. You never know.
That's right. So was that on purpose? Your discovery of this trove of history has certainly caused some interesting, or given you some interesting revelations. We will not forget Kaylee with her final wrapping event, period, or scene.
I'm thinking.
A lot of stuff.
I'm thinking. There's a lot to do here. There's a lot to think about. Okay.
You know what I'm wondering right now? Is the city of Eltning was in a kind of a sea or ocean or lake that, because of the long heat, dried out and became the desert where we found the mummy inside?
Well, I mean, it's still a bubble until the Great Collapse. But we haven't established whether or not the long heat is still there.
Yeah, the end of it almost say many years.
Oh yeah, no, we can't put that because it says as wizards flee or perish, the bubble surrounding Elfing dwindles to nothing, and the city is retaken by the sea. So we've already established it's in like an ocean or at least in like a sea.
Yeah.
It's over at the right here.
But maybe there's a city that the student began studying dark magic in that was the center of the long heat. Okay, so
And
I'm
yeah,
thinking
the temple in the desert with the mummy. That did have associations with House Elo.
so
Interesting.
I'm thinking so this whole new government is backed by the serpent cult,
Mm-hmm.
which is not a fan of hosts here, I don't think. Is that
House Elo, at least once they were banished, was pretty bitter toward the other three houses, especially House Door. House Tyr sort of being as like, another golden boy type house, like one of the other houses of light. Elo, had it out for Tyr almost as much as House Door.
okay? Here's my event. To end the magic prohibition. So how many houses are there? There's 4, right?
4, yes. And if it matters, Dor and Tyr are light elf houses. Dor is mostly high elf, and Tyr is mostly wood elf. Nai and Elo were both variants on dark elf houses.
These are wood elves then.
Oh, this is terrible. The dark elves were banished to the desert. Oh, now I see why they are so bitter.
It's pretty bad.
It's really bad. They'll do anything to survive.
Okay, here's my note.
Yeah, House Nai was more of like dark wood, like dark forest elves. Like the ones that you might see in like the Black Woods in Germany or something like that. And House Elo was like more of a subterranean dark elf.
Oh wait,
Style.
House Tyr has to be there at the end. Never mind. I take back my thought.
House Tyr and Elo unite to fight Camdor at the very end.
Yeah. Oh no, now I have to rethink my thoughts.
What was it? Because it might not need that much modification.
I put it's at the bottom of the magic prohibition.
Like, there's enough time in history for this stuff to all happen, and then later for the House Tyr to reform with like the descendant of High Chancellor, the guy that is from the house who escaped miraculously.
I mean, how many times has Poland not existed?
True.
Multiple.
True.
Okay,
so having like even if Tyr's holdings aren't like destroyed, but if they're redistributed,
yeah.
I mean, that lets them
commandeer Tyr's holdings.
I have one question, David. You add something particular here in order to have all this lore in that tree? Because nothing here is leading for all this lore to be in there.
I mean, maybe it was the center of House Tyr's holdings,
But
or where they reestablished themselves.
But we had a lot of things there as coffins of the remainings of the house and this kind of stuff.
Yeah, maybe it was one of their. Okay, maybe it was one of their oldest holdings that they reclaimed, or
maybe is the remainings of the ruins of the Nakin school.
You never know.
maybe
I
it's
am
the
gonna have
school.
to call it there, though, guys.
Yeah.
It is 11
have to
o'clock.
go
I had a
also.
fantastic time doing this thing, guys. Thank you so much.
Tis getting late. I think that we've ended this in a very interesting spot. Why all this was there is definitely a good question. And one that is not immediately obvious from what you've read so far by the looks of it. You found plenty of interesting observations, and how that relates to your explorations, we will find out next week. Thank you
Yep.
to all. Sorry?
5 viewers.
We have 5 viewers currently. How many of them are us?
I'm
1, 2, 3,
Mm.
4. At
That's
least
okay,
4.
guys. Our vanity can wait.
Our vanity knows no bounds. Well, thank you, us, for watching. Thank you, Tatiana, for watching. Hopefully you get a chance to catch up. Crystal had to duck out early, and hopefully she gets to catch up as well. So yes, to all of our loyal us viewers, thank us for watching, and we will catch us again next time.
I'm very welcome.
And scene!
See you. Bye.
Hey, thank you.
Good
Night,
Bye-bye.
everyone.